Hi, this is Cynthia Ortiz. It is February 22nd, 2022, and these are the Charles Perry Stalker podcast. Use allegedly, apply the but for Mr. Perry, harassing me, coercing me, causing duress, interfering with contracts, interfering with commerce, on and on and on and on. Crime, lots of RICO Act violations. We wouldn't do these. Stalking, harassment. If it weren't for that, we wouldn't do these stalker podcasts to document them. So we saw on the National Stalking Resource video the police talking about how it's important to document what stalkers do, and a lot of them, 75% of femicides are stalking related. The women were stalked first. So stalking is dangerous, actually. In fact, those officers said we make sure our victims know and understand that they're in a lot of danger. So we've said that. So apply the but for and the reasonable, prudent individual standard, and we assert all constitutional rights, including equal protection. Mr. Perry, I know you think you're God. I think you're about to find out you're not. So we have a witness that said a long time ago. Remember, this is about sexual exploitation of women and children, torture, torment, starvation, violation of human rights. He pissed some wrong people off long ago, so he's been under investigation. Mr. Perry always asks, "Who tells on me? Who's telling on us?" Because they got caught more than ever in their lives in this criminal activity, this Texas Billionaire Boys Club, whatever the hell. What the witness told us. I'm gonna just quote the witness because the witness tells the story pretty well. My son and I have been a victim for a long time. So the witness says, as long as I've known Mr. Perry, or Charles Perry, he said, he trolls women. He puts cameras in their house when they're not home, broadcasts them all over the dark web. He'll pay the landlord, the maintenance guy, or a locksmith a little something to get him in. He usually gets a key and helps himself, goes in and out as he pleases. His wife knows he's out of town, but she doesn't know what he's doing. She won't go with him. But he'll troll women. He'll put cameras in their home and broadcast them all over the dark web. Makes money off of their body, their property, and their electricity or utilities. A lot of times uses their internet service too, by the way. So he's raking it in while he starves them to death. He said he's a sexual sadist. He gets off on making women hysterical so he can, and I'm quoting, go rub one out. I'm quoting a witness. This is a sex crime. This is not lewd and lascivious conversation. I'm talking about crime causation. I'm talking about crime. It's unbelievable. I have to explain that. Unbelievable. I even have to say that. But I do, because Mr. Perry's not all there and doesn't understand some things people say to him. So anyways, I don't think any of them are, frankly. I think David's as slow as he is. Anyway, so they always wonder why they're, who's telling. Don't ask who, ask why. Ask why you're getting told on. You're pissing everybody off, because normal people don't like to watch one person harm another and cause hardship and suffering. And that's all you guys do all day. That's what our witness said, that you're a sadist, that you get off on that. That's part of your crime causation. So anyways, he said he'll get them fired. Then they can't afford to pay the rent. Then he gets them kicked out. Now they're an unfit parent, so I'll have the ex take the kids away. He said, I've never, it makes me sick to my stomach. I'm glad somebody's finally putting a stop to it. I'm tired of sleeping with one eye open. He solicited me for money, wanted me to invest in it. Walking around with a handout. You're getting entertained using my body, Mr. Perry. So our prosecutor tells me, I want you to, are you okay with him doing what he's doing? I was like, fuck no. And he goes, I had to have that on the record. You need to bill him, because I don't want him going into his criminal case and saying, as a defense, she was complicit. She was okay with it. She let me do it for free. You need to make sure he understands in writing that's never been the case. Ever. And he owes you money for using your body, your property, your utilities, your internet service to get entertained. So he's been billed $1,000 a day for every day he's done that, plus $2,000 a day for doing it without my consent. We hear his guy says, man, that's the first time that's ever happened. Most of these women don't know they're being watched. They don't know they're being sold. They don't know that the problems they're having, we're causing them. They've never billed us before. They've never sued us before. We're seeing things happen we've not seen before. But Mr. Perry, guess what? A lot of times what he'll do is he'll get caught. He knows he's caught, and he'll do it anyway. And then cry and whine. Who's telling on me? Who's typing in my phone? Is it this guy? Is it that guy? Is it your family? I told you don't call my family. I told you don't call my fucking family. Didn't I? I've stayed away from my family to keep you from suspecting them as a leak. Did you let I got tired of hearing the recordings of y'all. Did you let something slip up? Did you say something? Yeah. We'll call the EPA. Have them find some way to shut you down. You guys are something, but you're caught now. So, this threat that was made a long time ago. What happened is, I was getting a new apartment and a new car. And Mr. Perry was recorded telling somebody she's not getting the new apartment and the new car. And like it's any of his business. This guy's a stalker. He and I are not in a romance. There's not a relationship there. I moved twice to get away from him. There's nothing there. I don't have any feelings for him but disgust. He has imposed himself in my life. Like somebody breaks into your house and they tear up all your shit and then they try to make you leave your own house. And they want to, it's like, oh my God, what kind of wacky are you? So, Mr. Perry always wants to say what he thinks too, and no one cares. But you're getting told on and told on and more than ever in your life. We got like thousands. I have 33,000 of these kind of emails that represent 33,000 recordings. And that's just what I typed up because I don't type them all up. I don't have time. I don't. But they're not, Mr. Perry, they're being already played in court. Because whoever you talk to about getting me kicked out of my house, that guy's probably got a wiretap on him now. Did you not think of that? That guy's probably got a wiretap on him. Everybody that was in the conversation about you getting me kicked out of my home or taking my car away, they probably have a wiretap on them now. So how do you get that? You got to have probable cause, right? It's not going to be used as party entertainment, and I'm sorry that you thought it would be. You thought you were a victim of a political vendetta, even though there's not what you can hear when I'm pissed. I'll say something. Not one text, not one email, not one tweet, not one Facebook message about your politics. I left. I've been gone from Lubbock longer. I live in Oklahoma longer than I lived in Lubbock. I've been gone 8 years, 9 years, 10 years. I left November 2013. I left. Because you were torturing me and tormenting me, and you did get me kicked out of my house. And I had a friend, in fact, that called the landlord up and said, please don't make her move. This is not her fault. I want to pay the rent for her. And the guy said no. I'm a nice, quiet, single mom. We don't have big parties. We don't tear up the property. We take care of everything. The neighbors were mowing the lawn for me and taking care of the yard for me. So, why do that? Why the fuck would you refuse money? Unless you're getting a little more from Mr. Perry to kick me out. So what you're doing, Mr. Perry, is you're proving out recording after recording after recording after recording. And it's going to be very difficult for you to go into court then and say, I did not intend to commit a crime. I did not then try to cover it up. I did not then try to force her to lie. I did not, because you are. And I've told you repeatedly, over and over and over and over, I said no. If I'm living under a bridge, there's no cameras there. And I can move around, can't I, Mr. Perry? Finally, no, I won't be broadcast over the internet and watched in the privacy when I'm, a place I'm supposed to feel kind of private. It's rape, sir. This time you're not getting away with it. I know you're delusional and you think you are. But you're really not. And these kind of recordings where I've typed up an email where I'm quoting somebody should give evidence to you that you're getting caught. You're getting told on. You're making everybody mad. I don't want you. You think you're going to get me kicked out and take my car and I'll call you up and go, oh, hey, baby, come get me. Oh, you are off your nut, sir. Why the fuck would I do that? You're not my kind of person. Not even close. I'm not into weirdo sadists who are cruel. Or cop killers, by the way. And the more you prove out these recordings, you actually prove out the one about you killing Lucky, too. Because we found out Mike was drugged. In more than one way. And I said it before it ever came out in a deposition. Several months. Didn't I? So, what are you trying to prove here? You're doing exactly what I say you're doing. It is insane. You guys get caught and you do it anyway. And we're just like, wow, it's so easy. It's not even fair. It's like they want to go to jail. It's like that's what they want. So you proved out our witness again and again and again and again. How many times have you gotten me kicked out of a place where you are filming me? You are using my property, and you should have been not doing that. Not keeping me from making money. We hear you that you rented out. Sometimes you rented out the clubs where I worked. Rented it out for the whole night. So that you could only have a couple of your guys go in, and I'd go home broke, and you knew it. We got 3 guys going in. They're going to buy a lap dance. You'll go home with $50. Canned food. Yep. You're proving all this stuff out. See, you don't understand. The more you do, it builds up. And it builds up. And it builds up. And it builds up. And it builds up. So this thing, now he's trying to do it again. Get me kicked out of my home again. End of March, Mr. Perry. And then what? You think I'm going to call you? You think I'm going to call you, sir? You had my mail forwarded? So my prosecutor calls me on Friday the 11th and says, I've been sitting here listening to them all day talk about interfering with your appeal. What was supposed to have happened in December is I filed a motion to vacate on fraud. They told the judge to deny it on the 17th, which he did. Now he's in trouble too. You don't think there's a wiretap on him too? Anybody who's connected to what your crime is, sir. Anybody connected to your crime. If they get caught participating and complicit and getting involved in your crime with you, you don't think there's going to be a wiretap on them too or something? Something. I don't know exactly all the details of that, but you can call TPD and ask them what it is. Or aren't you friends with Keith Quigley at the FBI? I don't know how close you are, or you probably know of him. Call him and ask him how that works. Your attorney clearly is unclear on how that works. So, but the political vendetta, geez, I grew up in politics. My granddad was an elected official. I'd been in it all my life. All my life. I knew all kinds of people. Perry's the new guy, crawls out from under a rock. I even lived in Lubbock 3 years and cultivated relationships in the Lubbock in Texas area. Although I never did Texas legislation. Never worked on Texas legislation. You don't legislate in Oklahoma. So Perry goes into a court of law and lies about there being a political vendetta. So we're not sure. Is he delusional? And he imagined that? Is he unclear on what his legislative duties are? Because following a woman around town, trying to make her lose her house, not part of your that's not what you need to do to pass a law in Texas, is it? Pulling up behind my house, watching me in my backyard, ruining every good thing that happens to me. I had a really good life until I met you. But you're a job. You're just a job. Mr. Perry, I understand you wanted to pull together some sort of faked up witness protection. Let's make her think she's going into witness protection. Let's whisk her away and put her in this house and kill her. The end result of this, we know, is that's what you want. You want to kill me. Because I'm the one that's caught your crime, and you don't like that. But I'm not doing this by myself. I can't get a recording of you guys talking about getting me kicked out of my house, or taking my car away, or wrecking it. Make her have a wreck. Make her leave Oklahoma. Mike was drugged. Harassment email. Mark Mara email. Fabian puzzle. I can't get that to myself in jail, can I? That puzzle's very specific to me and what I want and the way I see you. And the way I see Fabian. So, I didn't get that to myself in jail, Mr. Perry, did I? Somebody got that to me. That's pretty big power, isn't it? And that's what you're pissed off today. And that's what you pissed off yesterday, and the day before that, and the day before that, and for the past 12 years. You crawl up from under your rock, you're the new guy. I don't need you for shit. And then I left. Now, it doesn't matter what you do, any more than it matters to Chief Franklin what some guy in Hawaii is going to do legislatively. Not in the same state, doesn't matter, does it? You don't matter. You think you do. But you think a lot of things. Don't ya? No evidence of a political vendetta anywhere. None. This is crime, Mr. Perry. It's just fucking crime. And you get off on it, and you do it 24/7. And I've told you and told you and told you, the more you mess with me, the more you get caught. And you just proved out a whole bunch of recordings of you and David. You and David both. Now what are you going to do? Hang on. So our prosecutor tells me Friday the 11th. First of all, they went on the 17th. They did have that judge deny my order. Then they had planned for me to go out to my family's house on the 18th, where they were going to do the second false arrest they've been threatening since I got home from the first one. And then Perry was going to announce his candidacy. But he jammed up. I do food delivery right now. I have signed up for Grubhub. I have signed up for Uber Eats. And I have signed up for DoorDash. So they can't know which one I'm using on any given day, or when I'm working, or what part of town I'm working in, without having cameras in my home, and without having hacking me and watching which one I do, to have people call in. And they have been, and they did it tonight, and they got caught. So what are you going to do about that, huh? When my guys arrest you, Mr. Perry, you guys, all of you, when my guys arrest you, how are you going to explain that? I did allege you're hacking. I did allege you're a peeping Tom. I did allege you sell me online and make money all over the internet, all over the world. I did allege you're a stalker, a reject, and a cop killer. Didn't I? Are you trying to prove me out? It's so easy. It's not even fair, David. You're the worst one to go, I know she caught us. We're going to do it anyway. We're like, wow, oh my God. This is the gift that keeps on giving. Son of a bitch. Driving by a cop going 90. I'll speed up to 100. What's he going to do? And then when you get a ticket, you complain. Or arrested. You'll complain. You'll be like, who told on us? Who's telling on us? That's not important. And it's actually, I don't even know that. And I've told you that. Maybe you'd ask why. Maybe you're pissing people off being an asshole. So they do this. They were going to have Manford police arrest me on the 18th. Take my driver's license and have them do it. So they got caught. But they jammed up my app, so I didn't make any money. I was having a hard time making money because he kept jamming up my app. We can't get orders in and make money if your apps keep jamming up. So I ended up, I didn't have the money to go out there. I tell my guys, hey, I don't know that I'm going to be able to go out there because he's jammed up my app so bad today. I can't do shit. Yep, well, they're going to do something, so just sit tight. You're fine. They did you a favor. Taking your money, actually. That would have been a whole different thing had you gone out there. They know you respect Manford Police. They wanted to cause a conflict right there. They don't like you respecting Manford Police. They were hoping that would end the whole Mike Neely thing. And so it was a bust. We understand you guys worked on it for weeks. So there's that, Mr. Perry. There you go. So our prosecutor, I mean, they're telling me they wanted to set up this fake Witzig thing and tell you you're in danger. You need to go into witness protection. But it was going to be fake. They're going to kill you. So And I'm like, well, that would defeat the purpose, wouldn't it? I'm the bait. I'm the one gathering a lot of this evidence because the crimes are against me. So every time you commit a crime against me, first my guys record you talking about it. So we got premeditation right there. Then you do it anyway. So now we have mens rea, we got premeditation, we got malicious forethought, on and on and on and on and on. It's so easy, it's not even fair. Wow. What am I supposed to do with the landlord who let someone put cameras in my house? If that's how they got in. If that's how you got in where I live now. If that's how you got in Manford and put cameras in my home and my room. What am I supposed to do there to those people? Huh? That they would allow something like that? Was it a locksmith or was it my landlord or was it maintenance guys? You think my guys don't already know the answer to that, Mr. Perry? Yeah. Okay. So our prosecutor tells me on Friday they're gonna try. I've listened to them talk all day. We can't let her appeal. We can't let her appeal. We can't. She's supposed to be in jail and not able to appeal. On the 18th, we had all that planned out because we did commit fraud in court. That's why she's never in court. To prove otherwise, but you watch her podcast, she's proven it just fine. Mr. Perry's a cheat and a liar and a criminal. A bad one. So he keeps getting caught when he fucks with me. He's not getting it. Correlation. When you fuck with me, you get caught. When you fuck with me, you guys get caught. When you fuck with me, you get caught. Never happened before, but it's happening now. And you just act like you don't get it. Don't ask me who told you. Do not care. And don't ask me who's helping me. It doesn't matter. You're defying them anyway. You don't even know who these guys are. And you defy them and defy them every time you get caught and you do it anyway. I don't have any words for that. I have no words. If you thought you're going to take everything from me and I'm going to call you, you're off your nut. You're crazy. I don't know what kind of delusion you must be in to think that. When you had me false arrested, I asked to see you. Nope. What did I tell everybody? I never want to hear his name again. He better fucking leave me alone. He wants me to lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna fucking lie. I'll stay quiet, but there's one condition. He never contacts me again. And that made it into the bond conditions, Perry, which is a contract. Only you had that thrown out of court too with the phone call. So we never got a judicial ruling on it, did we? To determine whether or not it's a contract or not. You're unbelievable. So, no, I'm not going to call you. I'll live under a bridge where there are no cameras. And it'll be a different bridge every night. So that way you can't set cameras up. Or under some tree somewhere. So I know nobody's watching me do a thing. So, you do what you do. And it'll be this way until you're arrested. Because you will be arrested. Write it down. It's going to happen. Take it to Vegas and bet on it. You keep doing exactly what we can record you, and then you prove it. And I always say it before. There's always an email before you do it. Isn't there, Mr. Perry? So here, hang on, I got to change the page. Okay, so here's this. This was the documenting what happened on the 18th on the blog, justiceforsend.com. She filed that motion to vacate. They had the judge deny it. He did. No hearing again. There's a lot of those. That's starting to stack up against you, Perry. Like 7 fraud cases, I think they said. And then on the 18th, she was supposed to go out to Manford. They were going to have somebody take her driver's license out of her purse while she's talking with her family. And ask her to go into Manford to get something and have them pull over and get her. We worked for weeks on it. Telling our family, here's what you got to say and here's what you don't say. I told you not to talk to my family, didn't I? I haven't been out there. I didn't go out. I haven't been out there since 2019 when COVID hit. 2019 Christmas is the last time I've been in Manford with my family. First, it was COVID. I didn't want to get them sick. I'm interacting with the public all the time. I've got older relatives. I've got baby relatives. I'm not going to get them sick inadvertently. But then I got vaccinated. And then it was constantly, is it your family telling on me? Is it your family telling on me? Why are you contacting my family at all? Why? Nobody's harassing your family. Nobody's threatening your family. So what the fuck are you contacting mine for? Especially if you think that's a leak. You're not all there, are you? So, and then asked me to go into Manford, and because they know I like Manford police. They're intentionally, what they do is they use people they know I like to hurt me. And our shrink says that's psychological torture for all of them. Especially people that care about Cynthia. And that's why they won't come out of the woodworks here, Perry. There's a reason why it's a need to know, and they don't make a bunch of phone calls and tell everybody who they are. Because that's the other thing, the shrink. They got a shrink they use. What she said is, just like Hitler would tell some of those young men, you shoot the Jew or I'll shoot you. Psychological torture. People don't want to hurt another person. And when you go to them and they care about you and they want you to be happy and have a good life and have a nice place to live and a nice things around you and a nice car to drive and a person in your life that loves you and you love them, that's what they want. They don't want somebody trying to take everything and ruin everything you have. And everything you try to do, they fuck it up. That's not what people want. Normal people don't want that anyway, but certainly not your family. And so when he goes to your family and tries to tell them, we want you to hurt her like this. You're going to do this to her. And we're going to train you how to say this and don't say that so you don't slip up and fuck up our little wicked plan to ruin her because she knows where the bodies are buried. But what do you think my 40 guys will do, Charles, if you did something like that? What do you think they're doing right now? After what you've done all week, actually. You've been told on and told on and told on and told. So they're getting the information from your camp and giving it to me somehow. Wiretap orders. What is it, man? Sometimes it's a leak, sometimes it's a wiretap order. Which is which and where's where? You don't know, do you? But you're pissing people off. It's not that hard to get that information. It gets easier by the day. The more you do to me, the easier it is to get. You don't seem to understand that. And we've said it over and over and over. When you're mean to people, nobody likes you. And when you're mean to them in a way that is illegal, they really don't like you. Why can't you get that, Mr. Perry? Why can't you get that, David? If something is illegal, that means people don't like it when you do that. And when you do things people don't like, they're not going to like you. And everybody's tired of feeling anxious and afraid and guilty and sad and like vomiting all over you. You're an imposition and a burden. Nobody invited you here, sir. Nobody. So my prosecutor tells me that I'm sitting here listening to him all day. She's supposed to be in jail and not able to file that appeal. The 18th was a bust because David and Charles didn't get their hands out of her wallet, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So what was meant for evil worked out for my good, did it not? I was happy about it. I was like, fine, I can see my family later. I can see them later. You're about to go to prison. We won't have to worry about you anymore. We can't wait. I can't wait. My family wants me to be happy. They don't want you to torture and torment and starve me, dumbass. You know how I know that? Because I've known them all my life. I have not known you that long. But we all can't wait till you're in jail. I'll never be broke again, sir. That I won't be raped anymore. I won't be peeped on and hacked and tormented and tortured and starved. All your victims are. I'm one of many. And I won't be broke again. And you guys will be in jail. And you won't be around to hurt people anymore. You'll be removed from society that you pose a danger to. That's my goal. Nobody's gotten closer to that goal than me. So when you threaten me, please do remember who it is you're threatening and who you're talking to. What do you think my guys do every time you fuck with me? I can't do this by myself, Charles. Dave. I can't. So who's helping me? So there's two reasons they don't come out. One, it's a need to know. They don't trust anybody, and they went even deeper after Lucky and Mike. So if they don't trust somebody, you're not going to know who they are. You can make all the phone calls you want. You're not going to get shit. You're dangerous. Two, they know I need to have one relationship you can't get to. You've tried. We know. One relationship they won't let you ruin. They won't let you ruin it. You don't mean anything to me. You're a bad guy I'm trying to help catch, and that's all you are, and that is all you will ever be. So you taking everything I have, thinking that'll make me call you and want you, you are insane and sicko and twisted and a monster. I don't even know where you would come up with something like that, Mr. Perry. Where in the fuck would you got to be a really mentally ill person to believe that if I take everything away from her, then she'll want me. Nope. No, sir. Absolutely not. You're not a romantic interest to me. You never have been. You never were. I'm sorry that you thought that. But certainly when I left and wanted nothing more to do with you and rebuffed you, and I've been as mean to you as I could come up with to be, surely you knew at some point in the last decade that was not a possibility. So he tells me, I have your my guys tell me tonight, they're like, you are not going to believe this. Listen to this bullshit. They're all sitting around talking about where you're going to live next, where you're going to work. Maybe she'll work at a paralegal. Maybe she'll live at this efficiency. We've called all the hotels and told them not to let her stay there. We're fixing to get her kicked out of her house. People I don't know have not invited into my life discussing my life. You're going to probably be in prison, so it won't matter. We hope. I hope. The timing is not mine to figure out. But I don't want you in my life. You don't make decisions for me, any of them. You want to get me kicked out of my home, that's fine. You prove out a recording. I'll deal with it another way later, won't I? I can live under a bridge or a tree, and nobody can watch me in my house. So you win, gold star, right? What did you win? You've spent a decade making a fool of yourself all by yourself. You don't have a woman holding your hand. So the girl that I danced with, she's telling me, she actually didn't tell me this. She told our guy this. They want them to play Hotel California for her, so she feels stuck. And she goes, you know how nutty that is? I mean, talk about fucking weirdo. And you don't see her traipsing around here holding his hand. She hates him. He's always by himself. They come in here and they tell us, we want you to make Fabian and Cynthia not like each other. And if she won't change her mind, we're going to throw her back in jail until she does. She won't get out. You were recorded telling Fabian that too. I'll find a way to put her back in jail and she won't get out unless she's with me. You need to give up. Not how you get a date, bitch. You can't figure out how to get women to like you, can you? It's pathetic. So anyways, I've known a lot of men. I've gone out with a lot of men. I didn't get married till I was like almost 30. I dated a shit ton of men. They didn't act like you. You don't get women to like you, be an asshole and a criminal and invasive and a butt-in and putting cameras in their homes and taking everything and starving them and torturing them. That's very, very severe sadistic abuse, like our shrink said. It is psychological torture. Even it's psychological torture to ask somebody else that cares about you to hurt you. It's for all your family is being psychologically abused and tortured right now by this fucking. She didn't say that. I'm not gonna. She doesn't cuss and I do. She's a lot more professional in that way than I am. But I tell you what, I'm dealing with some very deeply wicked men. And I'm under attack by them all the time, 24/7, every day. So I'm not going to go, oh, go turn blue, okay? I'm going to cuss. And it's just too bad if you don't like that. I'm having to live in a different world right now. But guess what? There's going to be an end game here, Mr. Perry, and you're going to jail. Because nobody's caught your crime more than we have. And I can't do it by myself. And we're not playing these recordings at a party for entertainment, I assure you. And I'm not on your side. I hate your guts. I want you gone. It's getting easier by the day to get information to do that, Mr. Perry, because everyone's sick and tired of watching you cause hardship. And it seems like when we say that, you do it more. And we're like, and then you get all, and then you do it more. And then we get more recordings, and I'm sitting there typing it all up, and you, who told? I mean, it's this vicious cycle. It doesn't even make sense. Everybody's like, I don't even get this. And my guys are calling me tonight. Boy, this is going to piss you off. They're having a meeting right now trying to figure out where you're going to live, where you should work. These are men you don't know, haven't invited in your life. Don't care what they think. What in the fuck? It's going to piss you off. It's pissing me off. I was like, yeah. So the prosecutor calls me Friday, the 11th, and says they're sitting around right now talking about, I mean, all day they've been talking about how to mess up your appeal to the Supreme Court. They're gonna make sure you're broke and can't send anything out. Yeah, when you jam up my Uber Eats app, I can't make any money to send anything out. And he goes, we're gonna record all that. We're gonna take care of all this. And then he goes, they're gonna mess with the mail too. Hang on. These are the bond conditions. When he had me false arrested the first time, he had threatened it for months. And then he did it. Filing a false police report in retaliation for a public servant doing his job as a senator. Creeping out behind my house, causing me to lose my house. Not part of your legislative duties, sir. I filed the report on the 21st of January 2016. He had me arrested on the 29th. I had not even given Tulsa police my evidence yet. There was no proper collection of it, nor was there any preservation of it. So the charges were dismissed. But he wanted me to lie, and I wouldn't lie. So I said, I will just stay quiet, but you can't ever contact me again. So look what it says right there. He can't contact me. He's a state senator. Put that in my bond conditions. That's an admission to guilt and agreement to stop him. And this was then filed in a lawsuit for breach of contract. And he had that tossed out with a phone call, and we never got a ruling. Is this a contract or not? Is it binding on Mr. Perry or not? Now that's becoming a problem for you in ways you haven't seen yet. Yeah. This is the court cases for anybody to look. You fucked with the mail. So my prosecutor says, because we got them recorded talking about fucking with your mail. First he said, I want at least the Tulsa County served via mail. Don't walk it in there. Do it via mail. There's a reason I want you to mail it. Because it was a lot more expensive for me to mail it than if I had just driven down there and taken it in. A lot more. And that would have been the DOR, the designation of the record, and the copy of the petition, an amended petition, that would go before the Oklahoma Supreme Court, Mr. Perry. That's what you wanted me in jail, so I couldn't file it. You guys got recorded saying that. She's supposed to be in jail and not able to appeal. But, oh shit, we got our money. Yeah. Okay, so, hang on. Okay, so here's the amended petition. That's the DOR, and that is the receipt. That was sent on the 11th. He said, at least if you can at least get that mailed. I want that at least done, and I want it mailed. I know it's less. I know it's more expensive. It was quite a bit more. It was about double what it would have cost me to drive it down there. So, I want it mailed, and then I want you to put as an exhibit in the petition the receipt to prove that you mailed it and what day. So I did. It is Exhibit F in this amended petition. That's the DOR right there. In this amended petition, that receipt is Exhibit F. He said, they are going to mess with the mail. Well, sure as shit. The clerk calls me and tells me it didn't get there on time. Wow, because that receipt says... What does that receipt say? Expected delivery is the 12th. At the latest, the 15th. 14th. Monday the 14th. It was mailed Friday the 11th. Right here in town. Right here in town. So what my prosecutor does, Mr. Perry, is he says, you got the mail forwarding, they're forwarding your mail for you. One of them didn't get forwarded. And I get it, and I tell the postman that, what is this forwarded thing on it? And he goes, your mail's been forwarded. But then I saw you. So I put the sticker on it that says we can't forward it. We got to confirm. She's standing right here. And I go, I haven't filled out anything. And I have bank cards that have been sent out 3 and 4 and 5 times. Now Perry had it sent to his house. Yeah, that's mail fraud. So I'm telling my guy, he goes, don't file a complaint. I'm going to file the complaint, and I'm going to babysit it. That way, because if you file it, they'll go in and fuck it up. Tampering with that investigation. We're not having that. I'll file it. I'll get it investigated, and I'll babysit it. And I'll make sure they understand that's part of a need to know, and you're going to get all kinds of phone calls trying to find out who's looking into it. Nobody knows a thing. Do you understand me? Because this is life and death. We got a serial killer messing with my witness's mail. Messing with my witness civil court case. And I want to get him. So, this is a need to know. You're part of the need to know. Sign here. Nobody knows a fucking thing about it. Do you understand? The guy said, absolutely. I'll help you. I'll absolutely help you. So now you have that. We'll see what comes out of that. But he's babysitting it. He filed it. Because they knew good and well, if I go in and file it, you and David will prance in like little princesses right behind me and buy somebody. So nobody does a fucking thing about it. This time that's not going to happen. You need to know that. That's my mail that he... hang on. This wasn't sealed. And my guys have a recording of them talking about something like, I told them just don't seal it, and then maybe it'll just fall out. I think that was a bank card maybe. When I started questioning it, hang on. It goes to the Oklahoma State Attorney General Address Confidentiality Program for stalking victims. After Rebecca Schaefer was murdered by hers, he got it from DMV. So they set this up pretty. It's not in all 50 states, but it's in most. And so Oklahoma has it. So basically, our mail goes to the Oklahoma Attorney General, and that address is what's on our driver's license and everything, everywhere. That's the address we use. It goes to them, and then they forward it to us. Only somehow Mr. Perry got it. You know, again, with the landlord. I'm not gonna make any accusations yet, but I'm gonna say with the landlord, there's some questions. I think weren't you recorded talking to him, Mr. Perry, the first time you were calling him? We need you to kick her out. Didn't he say, how many people have you kicked out of their house, gotten kicked out of their home? I think there's that recording. I don't know. Anyways, that says forward, and then there was this sticker put on it that says unable to. I got to confirm. That's when I talked to the postman. So now there's a postal inspector, I guess, or somebody at the post office. Somebody pretty, it's need to know. So you can make all the phone calls you want, but it's being looked into. And my guy said, you don't do it, because they'll walk in right behind you and fuck that up, interfere with that investigation. These guys have a bad habit of obstructing justice. So what I'd like you to do is I'll do it. I'll babysit it. I'll make him sign off on it. It's a need to know. And then when they start making phone calls, everybody's going to say, I have no idea what you're talking about. They won't get fuck out of it. But they messed with the mail going to the court. So the DOR was late. And they knew that, and they did it on purpose. I heard them talking about it. How can we mess up that appeal? It's a clerical error. There's no crime. It proves out my recording. There is. Then they're going to try to make it where you have a very hard time serving them. Jamming up your apps so you can't make money. It costs money to make copies of mail. So you're caught. Here's the thing, is you get all excited, like, yes, yes, that's what I'm doing. He types it in my phone. Yes, yes. But that's not a good thing. See, that's how we know you're nutty. That is criminal activity. You've been caught. You're about to go to prison. That doesn't give you a date. What that gives you is you just committed a crime. You're tampering with mail. United States federal government mail. That's criminal activity. You're committing an illegal act to try to prevent an appeal in a court of law. You don't get to do that. You go to jail. My guy has gone to somebody else that you can't get to on this kind of shit rather than having me file the complaint, because we know you guys like to obstruct. So now he wants to make sure it gets investigated without you getting your dirty little hands in it. He did that on purpose. He specifically said, put the receipt in the amended petition. Because what we're anticipating them doing is fucking with the mail to fuck up your appeal. I sat and listened to him talk about it all day. They're going to prove out my recordings. Just watch. This is not a trophy, sir. It is nothing that you brag about. It is shameful and outrageous. And that's why you're getting caught and told on, because it's causing me hardship and everybody's mad about it, and you don't seem to get that. When you bother me, you get caught. When you bother me, you get caught. When you bother me, you get caught. And it has been that way day after day after day after day. You're never getting a date with me. It is insane that you would even think that. But you do get caught. And we're like, wow. And it will be that way every day until they're finally ready to arrest you and you're gone. And there won't be any more of this crap. And I won't be broke again, and I'll have my privacy back, and my family and I can live in peace. No hacking, no peeping, no witness tampering, no victim harassment, no nothing. You're gone. That's it. It's over. We can't wait. We cannot wait. It gets easier by the day to get information. You guys have never been more caught in your lives. And you get caught planning it, and you know you're caught planning it, and you do it anyway. And we're like, wow. Son of a bitch. Didn't know anybody could be that dumb. And you do, and we don't know what to say to that. So, the reason the receipt is in the amended petition as Exhibit F is because we all knew that you were going to do what you did. That's why he said, number one, mail it. Number two, put it in as exhibit, because they're going to fuck with the mail and commit another crime. And I got him again. Not a trophy. Nothing you need to jump up and down and cheer about. Yay, yes, yes, I did do that. Yes, yes, I can see you in your house. Yes, yes, I like looking at women in the privacy of their home. And you're alone. By yourself. Nobody wants to be anywhere near you. And you're getting told on and told. You're alone, sir. You don't have women throwing themselves at you, do you? You're a reject. And you're about to go to prison. You're the one committing the crime. You're the one getting told on. Do you not get that? Because tampering with mail is a serious crime, sir. You're the one asking who told on you. How did, he said they're going to mess with your appeal. I sat here and listened to him talk about it all day. That's not a trophy. That's crime. You're going to jail. That's premeditation is what that is. You talked about it all day Friday. He told me what to do about it. And then you did it anyway. Premeditation right there. Okay, this is one of the many files Philip can get into if he wants to. And this is Exhibit F, Mr. Perry. You're something. What's that say right there, Exhibit F? In preparation for you to go ahead, even though you've been caught, and commit the crime anyway, we did that. We did that. So, go ahead and do your little dance. Yes, yes, I did it. Yes, I did it again. It's unbelievable. You are truly mental. Truly, completely mental. Did you really think you're going to take everything I have and I would call you? Why did you think that? You need to, listen, I've dated a lot of men. Not one of them took a fucking thing from me. They usually gave something. Took me to dinner, bought me perfume, bought me something. Never once, ever, did they try to get me kicked out of my house. Try to get me fired from my job. Try to get, everybody to hate me. Or people I love to hurt me. Gaslighting, I think they call that. So if you want to get women, you do what women like. You don't crap up their lives and think they're going to call you and go, oh, baby, I like you. What in the fuck? So, one of these days, I'm telling you, guys, write it down. Mr. Perry's going to be a fucking Netflix special. Criminology. The study of why in the fuck does anyone do that to another person? What mental case would do that to another human being? Jeffrey Dahmer was, coaxing young men to his apartment, I guess, and murdering them and then eating them. And normal people are like, oh my God in heaven, dick. That is the most disgusting, horrific thing I've ever heard. Mr. Perry, they say the same thing about you. People say the same fucking thing behind your back about you. Do you not understand what you're doing is disgusting and disturbing to other people? And everybody's sick and tired of the hardship you all cause. To me and everybody else. It's not just me. You got more than one victim. To the Neelys and the Millers. Disturbed and sickened. And that you're such a nasty, twisted... You and Dave both. You're alone. You're a reject. You're a 12-year reject. 12 fucking year reject, Mr. Perry. You don't have women throwing themselves at you. Nobody's holding your hand. The girl said it to my guy. You don't see her in here walking through here, traipsing through here, holding his hand, do you? She had 2 other men she cared about deeply. And one of them died of cancer. The one that said, I'll pay your rent. Please don't kick her out of her house. She didn't do anything wrong. I'll pay it. I'd love to pay it. And the guy said no. Because I'm being paid a little more over here by Freaky Jason Sadis Perry to kick her out. So I can go rub one out, as the witness said. He's got a sick, twisted motherfucker weirdo problem. Sex weirdo problem is what they call it up here, Mr. Perry. So, we did put this in. It was done intentionally. It was to let the court know we already knew you were going to mess with the mail and make it late. So we're going to document that it was sent to plenty of time to have gotten it on time, Ta-da! February 12th. And we sent it. He had me send it via mail, not walking it in on purpose. And he had it, he said, if you get nothing else out, get that out first. There's a strategy there. And one that has caught your crime more than ever in your life, Mr. Perry, Mr. Robertson. So you do what you do. You want to get me kicked out of my home and take my car? That's very interesting. We have a lot of recordings about that, specifically, including one to an individual that sounded to me a whole lot like the landlord. How many people have you gotten kicked out of your house? Questioning, why in the fuck would you ask me to do that? What's his liability for allowing you to put cameras in my home? Because we all know you have. We've talked about it and talked about it and talked about it and talked. What is his liability, Mr. Perry? Huh? You're using my body for your entertainment. You don't get to do that. It is disgusting. It's criminal. You don't have my consent. Don't act like it's a trophy. What is wrong with you? That's what got this thing open to begin with, Mr. Perry. I don't like you, you creepy fuck. I don't have to. Guess what? Right now, nobody does. You're getting told on all the fucking time. You think people like you? You are off your nut. You're disturbing everybody, you sick, twisted Looney Tune. I can't stand you. I moved twice to get away from you. There's a whole lot more. Hang on. Do you see this? How did you know Mike had to be coaxed to go to Pensacola? Who are the other victims? After I got a subpoena to testify for Mike in his murder trial, which you made sure I didn't. And again, we got tampering with a court proceeding illegally. And you want to jump up and down and go, yeah, I do that. Okay. Shit. I can't. Shit. When you're arrested, I've begged my guys. I so want to be the one to get the confessions. He wants to explain. He thinks these are things that should attract a woman. Wow. Okay. I so want to get the confessions, Mr. Perry. You are something. I don't even. Oh God. This is evidence of premeditation. How do you know which one of the 5 talked Mike into doing something he did not want to do? I want to see if you know which one of us did that. That indicates we already had a plan over there to kill both of them. And we tricked him into coming. We just want to know if you know which one of us did. And which of my other women, the women that I'm torturing and tormenting and exploiting, Jeff Epstein type crime. Just what Lucky and Mike were talking about right before that murder. We got an Epstein case on my desk in Manford. That's what they were talking about, wasn't it? I understand that guy out there feels very distraught as of late. Because he knew what he did. Exploiting me, allowing you to put cameras in my room. He and I argued about it. Get the fucking cameras out of my room. That he feels very distraught. I hope to God I did not get Lucky killed. I'm going to tell you something. He should never have done that. And when I confronted him, that is an expression of I'm not consenting here. Get them out. And he should have. And he didn't. Did he? And the people where I live now better fucking do the same. Because I promise you, if there's a court proceeding on any of this, you're going to wish you had gotten the fucking cameras out of my house. And I'm due compensation for that too, by the way. As I've said, Mr. Perry, you're not going to go into a court of law and assert as a defense, nor would a landlord or someone who would okay such a horrible, hideous act of rape against a woman's will. I'm 52, not 6. I make my decisions, not you. Nobody invited you into my life. You're an intruder, not a guest. You don't do shit. I'm catching your crime more than anybody else you know, so I would be very careful about pissing me off. Right, Mr. Perry? Are you able to put that together? Since I met her, all of a sudden everything I do in this criminal shit comes out. And it comes out. And then it comes out a little more. And then it comes out a little more. And then it comes out a little more. And I'm not fooling fucking anybody. If I think that, maybe they're fooling me. That occur to you? I'm going to tell you something. The cameras come out of my house. And the landlord might be sued too. And the guy where I used to live, I understand, is very upset and distraught that he's fearful that maybe he contributed to Lucky's murder. Because they were talking about the Epstein crime right before the murder. He's not to blame for that. Nobody makes somebody kill someone. Those are 2 completely different crimes. You don't put cameras in a woman's home, and that is a crime, by the way. And a civil, liability as well. The second thing is, though, is whoever decides to kill someone to cover it up or prevent a police investigation 6 days after that lands on their desk, that's not fishy. That's not fishy at all. And then you'd send something like this that indicates, oh, by the way, we thought that, we premeditated that murder, and I just want to know if you knew which one of the 5 of us had to talk Mike into going so that we could kill him. Well, that's a whole different crime, and the landlord has nothing to do with the murder. It might be a contributing event or act, but ultimately, the only person to blame for killing somebody is the guy who killed somebody. Right, Mr. Perry? When you do things like carry out a threat to prevent an appeal, or impede my ability to meet court deadlines, or, taking my money, coercion, duress, grand larceny with intent to coerce, all that shit, and get me kicked out of my home and take my car and all that stuff. You prove out all these recordings, and all those recordings are, like I said, mens rea, premeditation, malicious forethought. Boy, you need a better attorney. Mr. Perry, you need a fucking better attorney. And I understand that there's no attorney-client privilege anymore between you and Mark, because he's part of the crime. That's over. That's done. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but that's what I'm told by the prosecutor, Mr. Perry. You're just a gift that keeps on giving, motherfucker.
Leave me alone. I don't want proof of this. Please leave me alone.
Hey, men, leave women the fuck alone. When they're in public, when they're doing anything, you don't have the right to their attention. You don't have the right to step into their personal space. You don't have the right to them, especially if they're making it very clear they don't want to be talked to. But even when they're not, unless a woman is giving you enthusiastic and continuous body language and signs that she wants to talk to your ugly dumbass, then leave her the fuck alone. Find a date a different way. Okay? It's not clever. It's not cool. It's not cute. It's garbage. It's absolute garbage behavior. And you're a garbage person if you do it. I don't care if it's in public. It doesn't fucking matter. You don't have the right to her, and you need to leave her alone. And this is Bacon.
That's okay. I don't care.
Leave me alone.
All you want.
I don't want proof of this. Please leave me alone.
Hey, men, leave women the fuck alone. When they're in public, when they're doing anything, you don't have the right to their attention. You don't have the right to step into their personal space. You don't have the right to them, especially if they're making it very clear they don't want to be talked to. But even when they're not, unless a woman is giving you enthusiastic and continuous body language and signs that she wants to talk to your ugly dumbass, then leave her the fuck alone. Find a date a different way. Okay? It's not clever. It's not cool. It's not cute. It's garbage. It's absolute garbage behavior. And you're a garbage person if you do it. I don't care if it's in public. It doesn't fucking matter. You don't have the right to her, and you need to leave her alone. And this is Bacon.
Okay, so look at this. This is dated 12/31/2017. Again, we have something weird in court. Mr. Perry had planned, all the inmates told me, which has probably gotten all over Lubbock by now. That was a long time ago. He's going to send you home, harass the hell out of you. And then when you talk about it, he's going to say you're harassing him. And he's going to use you as a test case before the United States Supreme Court. And this was while I was in jail. In end of January, I was arrested on the 29th. That's the motion to dismiss. Matt Powell signed it. The charges were dismissed. He failed, by the way, to preserve my blood and hair evidence of poisoning. The video from the night that I reported in the police report on the 21st, so I could go over it with a detective. Look, here's what happened. This happened, that happened, blah, blah, blah. I preserved my text. But when somebody's trying to kill you and you're getting sick, I had to buy charcoal. I texted Dave Robertson, texted him, is it arsenic and phenobarbital? And he texts back, yes. I need a blood test. Maybe it's not either one of them. Maybe he was giving me something else completely. We will never know, because Mr. Powell failed to preserve the evidence. It's a Brady violation, Mr. Powell. You could be disbarred for that. You held me against my will for 2 months, never bothered to collect anything, preserve any evidence, no intention of going to trial, just held me. So you could coerce, right? I don't know. There's the arrest right there. In retaliation for a public servant doing his job. No, that's not it. While I'm there, they planned that. Guess what else happened while I'm there and they planned that? The Supreme Court judge, who's a First Amendment guy, flag burning is protected speech under the First Amendment, he said. He ruled. That was his decision as a judge on the highest court of the land where you were intending to perpetrate a fraud. And then you did it twice, months later, in civil court, didn't you? You did it in that case that's now before the Oklahoma Supreme Court that you jacked up with the mail. You did it there too, didn't you? So, and you did it in the federal court in Lubbock. You were already caught, you knew you were caught, and you did it anyway. Perpetrated a fraud upon the court. So Justice Scalia dies in West Texas, right then, right there. Not in D.C. some other time. Right then, right there, while they're planning this. Send her home. Do things like get her kicked out of her home. Cause her money, like jam up her app so she can't make any money. Call Upworks, tell them not to give her any work. On and on and on. Call her parents, tell them not to give her money that they should have paid her in 2007. Her granny worked all her life to save for me. My inheritance money. All those phone calls were recorded, sir. What are golly? Oh, jeez. You're caught more than ever in your life when you fuck with me, and that still does not click for you. Does it? So, again, these are all these things that Mr. Perry wanted to say I'm crazy. Oh, she's just delusional. But when you keep doing what I've said you were recorded talking about doing before you did it, it's really hard to make that argument, isn't it? And when I get back from jail, I call a shrink, and I go, I may have to be tested. They're alleging I'm delusional. I've moved twice. I told everybody in emails and in texts they want me false arrested, so I'll lie, and I won't lie. He's threatening me with death and false arrest. He's just a fucking stalker. So he goes, well, what's your evidence? Well, blood and hair should be tested and analyzed by a forensic pathologist to see if there's poison in it. And if so, what is in it? And then a detective has to find out how to get in me. Who put it there? And then, but I lost it because they illegally detained me for 2 months and didn't bother to pull it even in that jail. I never got my test. No evidence preserved. If you didn't poison me, Mr. Perry, you would have made sure I got a blood test and done your little drama queen dance. See, she lied. She lied. Everybody feel bad for me. I'm a victim. But you made sure I wasn't tested because you knew you were poisoning me. So easy, it's not even fair. Anyways, so we got all of a sudden the judge whose First Amendment, which this was going to be probably about, had he perpetrated that fraud upon the Supreme Court, dies right there. And William O. Ritchie, commander of D.C. Homicide, retired, immediately questioned why was the protocol not followed post-mortem for that judge, because if he had died in D.C., it would have been. What happened in West Texas? And by the way, he did, like I said, he didn't die just anywhere, and he didn't die at just any time. He died right there, right then. And that's not fishy. That's not fishy at all. Is it? You act like we're all turnip truck follower offers or something. We just can't, no, they won't suspect a thing. Except they do. Everyone does. You're not fooling anybody. If you think you're fooling somebody, I think they have you fooled. And that's not real hard to do. I've done it to you more than once. Look at the date on that. Look what that says. This was about the mail for the court. And then Perry types in my phone, you're going to be moving. And I immediately tell Mr. Wishcamper, look at the date on that, Mr. Perry. Before you do it. Not after. It's not an afterthought to explain away something. It's always before. To establish premeditation. Doesn't do any good if I don't say something about it when I get it. So that when you we have it. You get recorded talking about it. I type something out. It gets to everywhere. And the next thing we know, you do it anyway. We know we're caught. We're gonna do it anyway. And then when everything blows up, you're like, who's telling on us? We better find out who these guys are. We better find out who the leaks are. Who is it? Is it Al? Is it Jim? Is it Ty? Is it Kim? Is it Desiree? And I'm like, who the fuck are those people? I don't even know who the fuck those people are. Not people I sit and talk on the phone with or go to lunch with. So how would they be a leak? You tell me. Al, there's a guy or two or three that I gave lap dances to at work. I haven't talked to him since. Mr. Perry gave him a lap dance, never saw him again. Kim, I know about 5 Kims. Same thing with Jim, I know about 5 Jims. I know about 100 Ties. You keep asking about Ty. So, which one? I don't know anybody named Desiree. Don't know that person. These are not people I go to lunch with all the time or talk to on a regular basis. I haven't talked to my family either, so that you don't go around threatening them. Did you let something slip? After you've been told and told and told and told, stay the fuck away from me and my family. We've never had to buy a cop or a judge ever. So why are you having to do that? You gotta cover up your crime. You're a corrupt motherfucker. All of you can go to prison. It's gonna be fun when that happens. We're not getting these recordings, Mr. Perry, to play as a party entertainment. August 23rd, 2019. This is repeat. I'm gonna have her car towed and sold before she figures out it's not legal. And everyday sense. Can we make her have a wreck? Can we ruin her engine? Over and over and over. I've been hit 4 fucking times in 2 years. That is a very high number of times for somebody to get hit. And so when that started looking fishy, maybe we ought to have somebody pull in front of her and then she hits them. Wow, okay. You still had somebody do something to cause the accident. You did it the other night. You guys got caught again. I hope she swerves and just hits somebody, crashes that car and ruins that car so she can't keep working. And we get that car from her and then she'll finally fucking leave Oklahoma. She keeps catching our crime and we don't like that. Wow. Interesting. I am the one catching your crime more than anybody you know. And yet, you keep going at me. I'm the bait. I can't do this by myself. While you're chewing at me, you got my guys going behind you, harpooning you. And you're stupid and you don't get that, do you? Criminals are stupid, Sergeant Harper says. He's right. You are. Okay. Real quick, I wanted to hit on Mr. Perry's ridiculous accusations that he's being threatened. If I say, I'd like to, beat the fuck out of him. Okay, let me tell you something. He'd have to come to me. I don't go to him. He'd have to come to me to get hit. And I'm not going to wait to see what syringe he has on him. I'm not going to wait and then end up dead. My guys told me not to. If he comes anywhere near you, you take his ass down. And you call 911 and you wait for police to get there. Don't wait to see if he's got a gun on him. Or for him, I'm actually a lot more concerned about a syringe because he likes poisoning people. That's his MO. So take him down. And, if you were worried about it, wear a fucking football helmet. Or just better yet, don't come anywhere near me. But the thing is a lot of times these that one, I would take you down and wait till police get there, Mr. Perry. And how bad you get hurt is how much you try to hurt me. I don't go where you are. Any other comments about that are made in, to make a point. They're not to be taken literally. And I remember, I was thinking back, his guy, because these guys, we have to explain everything. Because there's, it's like we're in daycare. We have to get the puppets and the crayons out for these guys. It's a metaphor, Matt. It's an analogy, Matt. It's not to be taken literally, Matt. It's to be, or Mr. Powell. It's to make a point, sir. Jason Moore used to say, I'm going to, high five that guy in the face with a chair. Well, we all knew Jason Moore. Jason Moore's big. He's a huge guy. You don't want to piss him off. If he ever did high five you in the face with a chair, you may not make it through it. But you know what? He didn't mean that literally, and everyone knows that. Why don't you? Why don't you? Well, I mean, we're all like, wow, what a, I mean, everybody knows that's like to make a point. It's not to be taken literally. I've lived 52 years and not hit anybody but my little sister when we were kids. Haven't hit anybody since. When I worked in a strip club, some of those girls would pick a fight with you. Some of them were high, and they would pick a fight with you. I had 2 of them do it. Just walk up to me and tell me they were going to beat the shit out of me. Now, I will tell you, the next day they had no recollection of that event, but 2 of them walked up one day and they wanted to fight with me. Well, some of the younger girls will fight because they've got to prove something. Well, I'm not that. Both of them, I looked at them and said, I don't have anything to prove. I'm not going to fight with you. So if you hit me, I will not hit you back. I will call the cops, file an assault charge, and you go to jail. Both of them walked off. That's how I handle that. I don't do shit like that. It's just to make a point. To express that you're angry and you're hurt. And you'd like to bitch slap somebody about it. And you know what? Speaking of bitch slap, Mr. Perry's campaign guy put something on the internet at one point. This senator bitch slapped this other senator. We all took that to mean it was kind of a verbal beatdown. We didn't think he actually bitch slapped the guy. Mr. Stupid. It is retarded and ridiculous. You cannot tell the difference between a comment intended to make a point and something that should be taken literally. How embarrassing for you. So I'm tired of explaining what's supposed to be an analogy and what's supposed to be a metaphor and what's being said to make a point. Kind of like dark and twisty means I've suffered a loss and I'm sad about it. Like Meredith Grey. You are a fucking idiot. It is embarrassing, Mr. Perry. You're a fucking idiot. That you can't understand what somebody means. I don't have any patience for it. I really don't. I have no patience for it. I came to Lubbock from Vegas. Do you understand what that means? I worked in federal government reform, not state shit. Do you understand what that means? I think you better get a grip on reality is what I think you better do. This is Mike Neely's arrest report, sir. You want to get me kicked out of my house, there's about 100 recordings about you talking about it. And Mike Neely being drugged, and he didn't do shit. He's a victim of attempted murder. And you did that. And not only did you do that, there are no injuries in this arrest report. Nothing on him. He's accused of beating someone to death. With what? With what? He's a police officer. Just took your Epstein case on his desk 6 days before. They were just talking about it on a video. Right before that murder, just a few hours before. He wasn't found in his sweats. He was found in his street clothes. Somebody else was in that room, and he wasn't treated for being knocked out in a fight. He was treated for being drugged. And we found that out before it ever had hit the docket. Depositions. Narcan. He was treated with Narcan for drug overdose. I was drugged. He was drugged. We don't die. We both end up in jail. No evidence collected. His is collected after the Narcan at the hospital, not right away, to see what made him pass out, what made him be in respiratory distress. He was dying. He has no injuries on him. How dare you? How dare you? So you want to get me kicked out of my house and my electricity turned off and me starved as punishment? You do it. I dare you. Do you understand me? I dare you. Because the thing that would have worked better, you guys know how to frame people, don't you? That's kind of your thing, isn't it? Is you come out and go, she's right, there's not a fucking mark on the guy. So, we fucked that up, didn't we? His hands would have been all bruised and broken, nothing on it. The right hand is red and swollen. The right hand has an IV in it. Detective stupid. Mr. Perry, I really I'm asking, he types in my computer when I'm doing these, like, he thinks it's a conversation. Get the fuck out of my computer, shut up and go away. You weren't asked what you think, were ya? You're not all there. I do not go down to the funny farm and ask everybody what they think. I also don't go down to the, special education class and ask them what they think. Sweet people, I'm sure. Just not life advisors. I don't solicit their opinion. Do you understand what I'm saying? You and Neil gotta say what you think. That's the McNamara email. It says Perry intends to arrange a false arrest to coerce me. And then he did it. He enjoys causing duress. Enjoys it. Loves it. But that's criminal activity, just so you know. You need a better attorney. Not a fucking mark on him. IV in the right hand. And instead of going, yep, she's right, we back the blue. We're not okay with this. We don't want that suspicion on us, so let's find out who did this, because he clearly couldn't have. There's no way. If he did, he's the only person on the planet that has ever beat someone to death while asleep, in respiratory distress, and looks like that. No, not a mark on him. His lip was busted after the whole thing was over, when the staff pulled him off Chief Miller and threw him face first into the floor. It's a second event. The IV is in the right hand, making it red and swollen. Because if he beat someone to death, he'd have broken fingers probably. Really bruised hand. I mean, he wouldn't look like that. That's what somebody looks like who was in a fight. Only hit 3-4 times. Beer didn't even slush out of his hand. Everybody walked home. He didn't hit back. He was hit. Look at him. And look at Mike Neely. And you tell me, point out for me, on Mike Neely, where are the injuries that looks like he was even in a fight at all? Read the arrest report. Pouring out for us the injuries that look like he was even in a fight at all. You killed a cop. And then you went at the witness, and you're still punishing me. Get her kicked out of her house. Get her out of Oklahoma until she minds us. Who the fuck do you think you are? When you mess with me, you get told on. When you fuck with me, you get caught. When you mess with me, you get told on. When you fuck with me, you get caught. And I have help, and you know that. You just don't know who it is. So what are you going to do with them? Huh? Mr. Perry, we all want you gone. You are disturbed, sir. You are depraved. You are a sick, twisted motherfucker. You are a Netflix special waiting to happen. Some forensic psychologist or a what do you call it? A forensic psychologist or criminologist coming in to interview to find out why in the fuck do you do the shit you do to people? Huh? Something. You're horrible. So the more you get, all the stuff that we have found out over the past week or two here, before you do it, came because you're pissing off people, sick and tired of the hardships you're causing others, and you don't get to do that. You don't. I said that 5 years ago. You've been doing this all your life and hiding it, but this time you're not getting away with it. Not this time. Every time you're told on, that's what that is, dumbass. You're not getting away with it. Somebody somewhere is stopping you, huh? You're slow, aren't you? He's treated with Narcan, the guy says, in May. He was drugged and not given a full talks panel. That's a Brady violation. I said in March 2020, months before. This, Mr. Perry, this guy worked for John Ensign, United States Senator John Ensign of Nevada. Long before I met you. He was the chief of staff. He's deceased now. He had diabetes. We had a screaming match on the phone one day. John Ensign pissed me off quite a lot. But I never accused him of stalking. You know why? He's not a stalker. And he didn't kill cops. He might have done some things that politically I disagreed with. And I told him, because that's what I do. If there's a political issue I'm pissed off at you about, I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to keep my mouth shut for 4 years, move twice, and then claim you're stalking me. I told people you're stalking me in 2011. Not, I don't like his position on abortion. And you pissed off a reporter, too. My guys are like, this shit is hitting the my guys have 12 reporters they work with that have heard quite a few of the recordings I've heard. So wait till that blows. Hit the desk for 6 times. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Everything she says, everywhere I've read, says leave me alone. Nothing at all that says I don't want him to get elected. I've read everything on the dockets. I've read everything on the internet. Not anywhere does she say I don't want him to get elected. All of it is leave me alone. So that guy lied to me, and I will not take his calls again. Yeah, you think everybody's dumb like you. This guy and I mean, he calls me one day, and I'd left a message for him. I was trying to do some follow-up. And he calls me, and he's like, Cindy, this is John Lopez. You're high maintenance. I started laughing. I thought he was kidding. Oh, my God, he was not. He chewed me up one side, down the other. We had a yelling match. We're yelling at each other. But we became friends, as you can see, he says. I'm glad we're friends now. But here's the thing with Mr. Lopez. Lopey, everybody called him. He is the chief of staff for the United States Senator. He didn't have to call me at all. You don't matter, Perry. You really, this is what I'm used to long before I met you. You're a job, sir. That's it. Nobody's caught your crime more than I have. And I have help, Mr. Perry. And when you guys fuck with me, you piss them all off. You really get everybody pissed off. They don't like you fucking with my family either. Or my kids. So we hear Perry's, for 6 years, has been in Oklahoma a whole lot more than he's in Lubbock. It's like he thinks he lives there. He forged a marriage license. He's inserted himself into a woman's life who can't stand him. Pranced around with that marriage license. He's making spousal decisions, and he's not her spouse. And a lot of them are not even legal. Even my wife and I both have to sign off on certain things. So he's way overstepping his bounds. Way overstepping his bounds with a fraudulent document. And everybody started thinking he's been seen hanging out with her friends and family. Everybody started questioning his mental status. When it's 6 years into this, he's never been seen with her. He's always alone. And the person he said that to said, wow, if that's all you have to do these days to be married, I'm married to Jennifer Aniston. I'll go sign her name to a piece of paper. I'll watch her on TV. I'll live in pretend land if that's all you have to do now. You are Lucky asked me and Pinto, both of them, commented on a forged marriage license. Pinto didn't say a forged marriage license. Lucky did. Did you sign that? Fuck no. I won't even take his phone calls. I'm suing him. I'm asking a judge 11 times. Make him leave me the fuck alone. He's not a big boy. Can't do it by himself. And 11 times you buy your way out. You did it this week. My guy caught you. I'm sitting here listening, Cynthia, all day long. She was supposed to be in jail and not able to appeal. Make sure she can appeal that. Over and over and over. So what I would like you to do is send that amended petition and DOR via mail. Don't take it down there. Mail it. And take the receipt and include it in the petition. I'm going to do something with that. Based on what I heard them talking about, what they're going to do. And you did it anyway. Wow, it's so easy. It's not even fair. I could crack this one in my sleep. It's that easy. So this is the kind of people I was around. And guess what, Mr. Perry? You say it one time. Not the same thing over and over and over, and you still don't get it. It goes right over your head. Things don't click for you, do they? I hear you want to be governor. Go be governor. If your mental status is where I think it is, what? Monkeys at the zoo? You have to be smart to be governor. You got to get it the first time like that. And you know what? Speaking of that, when I'm in jail, there was someone there that when I say these things, keep in mind, I know Lubbock the way it is, and I'm going to protect myself, Mr. Perry. I'm going to. From you. From your horror. And I have every right to do that. You don't have the right to impose your horror on me. I've spent a lot of money and time kicking you off me. First, I moved twice, so there wouldn't be a fight. And you came, and you would spend your time up here, and you fuck with me, and you fuck with me, and you harass me, and you fuck with me, and you cause me loss after loss after loss after loss. So yeah, I get to kick back. If you don't like that, get the fuck off me. So, the way Lubbock is, and it somehow happens at 8 o'clock, by 8:11, it's all over town. One guy calls 5 people and tells them, you can't tell anybody, it's a secret. And those 5 people go, oh, sure, I promise not to. And then they call 5 people, and that's the same thing. Until within 10 minutes, whatever happens is everywhere. So, I waited. I waited to say something until it'd been about a year or two, the first time I ever mentioned this. And this had plenty of time to spread and fester. And, do remember, all the inmates told Mr. Powell, I guess, told some defense attorneys who told their clients and who told me about user as a harassment test case before the Supreme Court. You do realize that has had plenty of time to make its way through Lubbock about 100 times that you intended to commit a fraud upon the court. If they told me, who else did they tell? Duh. You think you're fooling somebody? Who? If you think you're fooling someone, I think it's the other way around. I think they're telling you what you want to hear, so you'll shut up and get out of their face. Stop wasting their time. That's a big complaint with you. He's wasting all of our time and resources on delusion. It's sickening. So, there was somebody in the jail that asked me one day after I had just met with my attorney, you gonna finally get to go home? And I said, they want me to, and she said, lie. I said, yeah, they want me to lie, and I won't. So I could be here a while. She put both hands on the desk and shook her head and went, oh my God in heaven. Let's pray not. And again, that's been a long time ago. You're causing a lot of people duress watching what you're doing to me. But you do what you do. And when you fucked with me, you upset men, 40 of them, who really care about me, and I've known them a lot longer than I've known you. They care about me. They care about the law. They care about every person you've hurt. And they hate your guts. And they have a lot of power. They got this to me in jail. This. It isn't your name there. It's Fabian's name. It's not some random guy's name. It's Fabian's name. And I didn't get it at a random time. I got it then. You cause fear and sadness. Boo is a private joke between one of these guys and me. Me is you. You're selfish and you're butting in. You are not invited in. You're butting in. You're like Connie Curry. It's unbelievable. Sadness and fear are things people don't like feeling. So it is not hard to get information. You're asking the wrong question. Who told? Fuck that. You don't get to know that. Why don't you ask this question? Why? People don't like what you're doing, sir. It's depraved. It's sick. It's twisted. It's cruel. And everybody's had enough of it. So when you upset me, these people are the ones that are upset. These people are the ones you need to worry about. I can't get that to myself in jail. So somebody had a lot of power to get that to me, didn't they? You're not all there, are you? That's becoming very apparent. So this girl that I danced with that is talking to my guy, and she goes, they just like fucking with her. They told the DJ to play Hotel California. And so we're all like, why? She's not trapped. She's moved. She has somebody else she cares about. He's stuck. He's the one stuck in Hotel California. She's not traipsing around here holding his hand. She's suing him, trying to get rid of him. She hates his guts. She's moved twice to get away from him. He's just not taking the hint. He's a little slow. We all get rejected. We all move on. And speaking of hints, when guys hit, I work in a strip club for 6 years. I worked around men all my life. So guys hit on you, and you don't want to. If I wasn't before I was married, and then after again, you're not attracted to them. And so usually the first response is, instead of hurting their feelings, oh, I'm seeing somebody. I got somebody, and that's whether you do or don't doesn't really matter, does it? The thing is, you're blowing this person off, and you don't want to hurt their feelings. So the excuse you come up with is, I'm seeing someone, but thanks. And if they keep pushing, then sometimes you'll have to say, I just don't find you attractive. But you're trying to be nice about it, and you're trying to... He never said that to me, ever, Mr. Perry. Didn't even come up with a blow-off line. All these years, and he's the only adult that I know that has not been used in any way at all to coax me somewhere or ask for information to give to you that you intended to use to hurt me. On the planet, he's the only one. He's the only human being on the planet, Mr. Perry. What this girl told me, and the guy and I talked after they talked, and she said pretty much what you said, what she told you. And that is, these guys coming in from Texas with all this money, telling us, you girls, we need you to help us make her and Fabian not care about each other so much. And if she won't change her mind, he's going to put her back in jail. And she had pulled me in the bathroom. What happened to dinner and a movie? What is this? They're scared to death of this Fabian guy. So why is an elected official not banging the interns like everybody else? Why is he coming up here doing all this weird shit to you? Trying to put you in jail. And what happened with this Fabian guy? Because I can tell you something. They are scared to death of him. I've never seen a bunch of, old fart wealthy guys shit themselves when the name of a strip club manager comes up. They told us we are not allowed to let you talk about him. That we're to change the subject or act like we don't care. We don't want to hear it. They went to great lengths to make sure you never talk about him. And they're scared shitless of him. What happened in Dallas? What in the fuck happened? You piqued a lot of curiosity. So, my guy talked to this girl and he goes, there's a lot of things I can't tell you. There's a lot of crime here. But I'm going to tell you this. If ever you feel uncomfortable or threatened, you get in touch with me and I'll get you out of here. Cynthia can handle stuff. She's been trained. You haven't. So if you start feeling threatened or something, you let me know immediately. You may not be safe. We're going to make you safe. So that struck someone that I worked with who's not a Christian. Doesn't have a high school degree. Works in a strip club. This is wrong. Something is wrong. And they're scared of this guy and her. Because I've never seen elected officials, old farts with a lot of money, come into a strip club and shit themselves every time the name of this guy comes up. And he's a strip club manager. Aren't they supposed to be banging the interns? What are they doing up here? In a strip club. What are you doing in a strip club, Mr. Perry? Fuck off. You weren't invited here. You were not invited here. You repulse me. There is nothing that I feel for you but deep, deep, deep disgust. Deep disgust, sir. No one has caught your crime like I have. Nobody. So when you do something to me, the guys that got me that puzzle, you don't think they get really pissed off? They're the ones telling me what you just said. Yeah, they get pissed off. What are they going to do about it? I guess you think nothing. You get caught, you do it anyway. Nobody understands that.
Leave me, please. I can't live here anymore because you stalked me. That's why I moved.
Just talk.
Leave me alone.
I will. You talk to me for 2 minutes.
No,
I'll leave you alone.
0 minutes. I don't want to ever talk to you again. I don't ever want to hear your voice to you. Please, God bless you, but please leave me alone. Please leave me alone. Please stop following me.
You won't call the cops.
Stop. I don't. Stop stalking me. Please, I can't live here anymore because you stalked me. That's why I moved.
Just talk.
Leave me alone.
I will. You talk to me for 2 minutes. I'll leave you alone.
You have any idea how hard it is to live for 12 years terrorized like that? She's not going to go on a date with him, nor would I with you. Mr. Perry, you disgust me. You're a cop killer. Guess what? I was raised by 4 generations of police. My granddad was the chief. Family, police family, stands by each other, Mr. Perry. You need to shut up. I'm not going to tell you who your leaks are. I don't know. Wouldn't help you if I would. Because once you're gone, in jail, finally arrested, my guys are going to keep getting what you just said and every wicked plan you make until they arrest you. Do you understand me? I'm not asking you. You don't have a choice. Fuck off. Nobody owes you anything. You're not owed anything. Nor was he. You're just like him, except worse. She can go home and she's safe in her house. I'm not in mine. It is worse for me. By far worse. By far worse. I'd be dead if it weren't for those guys helping me that got me the Fabian puzzle. And the Mike was drugged email. And then we're going to get her kicked out of her house email. And she's supposed to be in jail and not able to appeal email. Representing recording after recording after recording after recording after recording. Who is it you think you're fooling? You're getting caught planning a crime. Over and over and over and over and over. And you do not seem to understand that at all. Yeah, you act like you're stupid. Are you? You want to be governor and you don't get that when you get called on planning a crime, that means people are upset that you planned it. You're getting told on a lot, aren't you? That means people don't like what you're doing. You want to be governor and you don't know that? Wow, I don't know what to tell you. Terrorizing women, sir, is gross and not okay, and not how you get women to like you. It's criminal activity. Stalking is a crime. Felony. Coercion is too. Interfering with contracts and commerce is too. Once you're gone, I don't have to deal with it anymore. You're arrested. I don't have to deal with it. And I won't ever be broke again. I'll have my privacy back, my family's peace. We all finally have peace. We can focus on our lives and healing and abundance and safety. We'll feel safe. And I can tell your victims, you're safe now. He can't hurt you anymore. That's my goal. That is my goal. For that goal, and I won't have to lie. My guys are not going to make me lie. I don't have to lie about shit. I'm not going to lie for you. I'm not going to contribute to your crime. I'll live under a bridge first. At least under a bridge, there's no cameras. See, people get really irritated when you fail to respond appropriately to the words Jess said to you. 6 times she said, leave me alone. The proper response would have been for him to leave her alone. Reasonable, prudent individuals. Everybody else would have walked off. But not this guy, not Looney Neal, and not Looney Charles. He starts commenting on her clothes. Perry schedules a meeting. How can we get her kicked out of her house? And I want her to work at this place, and I want her to do that, and I want her... Never asked you. Get the fuck off me, rapist. I never asked you what you wanted. You have no place in my life. None. Don't you again sit down and have a little meeting. She can live here. We're gonna get her kicked out of the place she's in that she likes, that she picked, and and have her live in this place that we picked. And we're not gonna let her do for a living what she wants to do for a living. We're gonna make her do this over here for a living. Get the fuck out of my life. Butt out. Get out of my life. You butt out. You're the one getting told on because you do that stuff and it pisses everybody off. Get out of my fucking life. Respond right to what's said to you. Butt out. It doesn't concern you. It's not your business. Get out of Oklahoma. Get out of my life. You have no place in my life. I make those decisions. You fuck off. You're getting told on because you're making everybody mad. You're an imposition and a burden. You're caught in your crime more than ever in your life because you're fucking with me. I don't like you. Get out. Respond right to what's said. Get off me, rapist. Get out of my home. You are not wanted. You are not loved. I have spent a decade kicking your nasty skank ass off me. Get off me. Get off me. Don't you again have a meeting where you decide what I'm going to do. I'll make that decision. You have no right, legally or morally. You fuck off. Anybody that allows Mr. Perry to do anything without asking me about it, I'll sue the fuck out of you too, or you might go to jail with them. No more of that. I decide where I live. I decide what I do, and you fuck off. I'm a grown-ass woman. Nobody asked you. They didn't ask him, what do you think of her clothes? You're not asked. You are worse than that guy. You are pathetic. I didn't invite you into my life. These people you meet with, I don't know them. Get out of my life. Mind your own business. No one cares what you think. You weren't asked, and you just crossed a boundary that is pissing us all off. Grow up and act like a man. Everybody gets rejected. Everybody else moves on. Why can't you? I'm not in love with you. You make my skin crawl. You're pathetic. I left. You're that guy.
Leave me alone. I don't want proof of this.
And everybody's irritated with you because I have to say the same thing over and over and over, and you're like that. Leave me alone.
Please leave me alone. Please leave me alone. Leave me alone. Please.
Just talk to me for 2 minutes and I'll leave you alone.
Oh, God. It's too damn early for this shit. Leave me alone.
How do you dress like this? What are you like a prostitute? I'm curious.
Sir, please leave.
That's okay. I don't care.
Leave me alone.
All you want.
I don't want proof of this. Please leave me alone. Please leave me alone. Leave me alone. Please.
Just talk to me for 2 minutes and I'll leave you alone.
Oh, God. It's too damn early for this. Leave me alone.
All you want.
I don't want proof of this. Please leave me alone.
Hey men, leave women the fuck alone. When they're in public, when they're doing anything, you don't have the right to their attention. You don't have the right to step into their personal space. You don't have the right to them. Especially if they're making it very clear they don't want to be talked to. But even when they're not, unless a woman is giving you enthusiastic and continuous body language and signs that she wants to talk to your ugly dumb ass, then leave her the fuck alone. Find a date a different way. Okay? It's not clever. It's not cool. It's not cute. It's garbage. It's absolute garbage behavior. And you're a garbage person if you do it. I don't care if it's in public. It doesn't fucking matter. You don't have the right to her. And you need to leave her alone. And this is Bacon.
What's your name?
James.
Hello, Mr. Combs.
Sir.
So, before the steady app I see you got on your phone.
Despite the danger and pervasiveness of stalking, it is a crime that is underreported. Some victims do not know a crime has occurred. Some believe that reporting to law enforcement will not stop the stalking. And unfortunately, the last belief is not unfounded. In most cases, reporting stalking to law enforcement does not stop the behavior due to the high rates of reoffending among stalkers. The first interaction between law enforcement and the victim is a critical encounter. It can help determine whether the victim will continue to work with the criminal justice system or seek additional resources. To understand the crucial steps in recognizing and responding to stalking, we'll hear from various arms of the criminal justice system. I will venture a bet that in every community, large or small in this country, there is far more stalking going on than we are at all aware of.
Law enforcement have to be well trained so that they listen to indicators of stalking, they follow up with appropriate questions, they recognize that victims of stalking are experiencing trauma and that may impact their responses.
If you just go one time and look at one event, you don't have stalking. Instead, you have to look at the history. What else has been going on here? What is the precursors to what happened tonight?
Basically, understanding dynamics of what constitutes stalking, understanding dynamics of what is going on in the victim's life.
In and of itself, many of the behaviors that are going to occur with stalking, we need to understand and recognize are in and of themselves not criminal.
The conduct itself may seem benign without the context of the victim and the victim living it.
Key and foremost is listening. We have to create a connection, a bond with that victim so that we can understand from their perspective what that situation is.
There are common acts that stalkers engage in. The types of things that stalkers do, they almost do universally. Recognize that that's the type of behavior that a stalker would engage in, and then ask the appropriate questions. Oftentimes, a stalker will start with the type of approach that is designed to elicit a positive response from the victim. I want the victim to be in my control. I want the victim to engage with me. Now he's sitting outside in the parking lot while, she's inside the house, or he's outside her window taking pictures of her through her bedroom window on his phone, and those things that are very obviously criminal. But then we want to back up and we want to take the time to look at, well, what was happening before that? Because that strengthens our stalking investigation.
We need to take the criminal act that has occurred and understand our state laws so that when a person is talking to us and they begin to give us elements of stalking, that we connect the dots, that we put it together, and that we don't only charge for the criminal act that we may be initially responding to, but we also charge for stalking.
There's often an intersection between stalking and other crimes, whether they're property crimes, whether they're crimes of a sexual nature, whether they're domestic violence crimes, that there's often other crimes that are occurring while that stalking behavior is being perpetrated.
We have to begin to look at the totality of the circumstances. And in collecting, investigating, and corroborating the range of kind of experiences of that victim, we can now piece together a total picture that ultimately speaks to the real implications of this crime.
It was a breakup, then it was text messages, then it was emails because she blocked his text messages. He switched to emails, blocked his emails, he switched to social media, blocked his social media. Now he's following her, he's looking for her, he found her, he leaves the cards, he leaves the flowers. And then we have to make that leap to, well, now her tires have been slashed, or now her, windshield's been broken in.
Connecting, thinking about context, asking questions that brings that out in victims will help us automatically create a deeper bond and a partnership that can result in success.
One of the things that's really unique about stalking is it does vary greatly from state to state.
It becomes important to recognize the laws, what the elements of the crime of stalking is in your community.
We have to establish that the element that some type of fear has occurred. You have to make sure that you include in your report the fear that this victim sensed, or the intimidation, or the harassment, and you have to make sure that you put that in your report very descriptively so that we can ensure good prosecution.
Because fear and substantial emotional distress, elements of stalking, are so subjective, it's often law enforcement's responsibility and role to be able to extract that from a victim with a good interview and with good follow-up questions. So if somebody comes forward and reports to law enforcement, my car got damaged, my tires got slashed, somebody keyed my car, they keyed a swear word into the side of my car. Law enforcement needs to recognize that that's the type of behavior that a stalker would engage in and then ask the appropriate questions. Do you have anybody that you're currently having problems with? Is there anyone that you've tried to end contact with?
Has the person that is stalking you been subject to a protection order or some other restrictive order issued by the courts? Any other behaviors transpired prior to that they've never reported?
And those are exactly the kind of things that either may be lost when they initially come to report the crime and nobody writes it down, and so they may walk away thinking that what they've just reported doesn't matter.
The officers that are responding to it need to ensure that they absorb all that information and then report it.
I want our sergeants and I want our lieutenants to be looking at these reports and ensuring that when they read the elements or the description of that crime, did we miss stalking or potentially miss stalking?
When responding to a crime and you begin to believe that stalking has occurred, then you begin to conduct your threat assessment.
We need to make sure that we're thinking about their safety as a key and critical component of our first response.
So when we're talking with victims of stalking, we want to be looking for things that tell us that this particular perpetrator at this particular time is higher risk. If there has been, phone calls, and then he's sitting outside of her house, that tells us there's a spike in his ability to have direct contact with her. Once you have that escalation, you can see that this pattern is increasing in severity and frequency.
The officer should also conduct and looking into the perpetrator. Number one risk factor for lethality is going to be their Number one risk factor for lethality is going to be their protection order. And not only just a protection order, but have they had violations of protection orders?
A protective order gets filed, or there's something that he gets a notice to stay away from her workplace, or there's some type of additional action that happens, that risk might change.
And we know that primarily based on the studies and based on my understanding of stalking over the last 10 years, that majority of stalkers are intimate partners or ex-spouses.
So some of the things we want to be looking for are particularly offenders where there is prior physical violence. So someone who is an intimate partner with their victim in the past and there has been violence in that relationship.
Not only can the information from these threat and risk assessments help inform us, but it can help inform the entire system. Advocates, prosecutors, the courts.
And when we're working with stalking victims, because it is a longer investigation, we have to reevaluate their risk throughout that process.
If you don't have a threat assessment in your jurisdiction, then refer them to the persons that will do that, such as your victim advocates.
You want to make sure that the victim has a safety plan and that it is being assessed with someone who is there particularly to support this victim.
Stalkers pose a risk to people's safety, period. And if a victim is not told that, if they're not told this is potentially dangerous, they may not partner with law enforcement long term.
We need victims to understand the reality of what we may require of them, and that we need to help build a partnership with them. because many of these cases may require their ongoing engagement and involvement in order to be successful.
It's really important when asking victims to chronicle events that occur in their lives to constitute stalking, is that we also ensure they preserve whatever evidence they've already received, such as text messages, unwanted phone calls, things that are sent via email, photographs.
The first opportunity you have to capture that evidence, capture it. Don't tell a victim, well, go down to station tomorrow and have your phone photographed. No, photograph it right now. You're here with her now. Photograph it now.
You will probably then document that report. After you've received all evidence that you can on scene, then I would like to leave the victim with a log. And this is for future occurrences, things that may occur after the fact.
That may be things like logging the number of calls they receive, logging the number of times that offender drives past their home or blows the horn or does whatever it may be. We need to help victims understand the key and critical importance of securing all digital evidence that helps build and support our case and our investigation.
Just taking a screenshot, emailing it to yourself, just making sure that it's captured in more than one means, so that if the device gets damaged for some reason, you still have that backup.
And I think that it's very understandable to just want to erase it and just be done with it.
Get a victim to understand it's all important. It's all important. Don't leave any of it out for me. Oftentimes, victims will negotiate with their stalkers, and then they'll sanitize that because they don't want you to be upset as a police officer. So getting that relationship with a victim to the point where they understand you're not judging them, you're not criticizing them.
The trust in the relationship is incredibly important, also because things will happen during the delay of a trial. Additional evidence or additional activity may come up that can be added to the charges or will be the basis for new charges.
What becomes imperative is that when we have cases that cross our jurisdictional boundaries, that we reach out to whomever in that other agency is going to help us to effectively respond to this case, because it may require a co-investigation.
Law enforcement usually stops at that boundary, but I'll tell you right now, the stalker doesn't.
But one of the things that happens a lot is that people commit crimes of stalking in other jurisdictions, and they primarily do the same things. This is that type of crime that just kind of get washed if we don't work together with other jurisdictions.
Being able to communicate easily with our partners across the United States and sometimes globally is very important to be able to effectively doing these cases. Everyone's experience is an opportunity to communicate and to teach one another, to help, raise each other's capacity about topics that are very relevant to the effective investigation and prosecution of stalking.
We know that sometimes prosecutors will administrative release or drop cases, and the only way law enforcement can find out how or why is to go and have that conversation with our prosecutors. That conversation is so vitally important.
We need to understand what it is that they seek from us in our investigation, what they believe constitutes a full and complete investigation.
It may be an opportunity for law enforcement to educate the prosecutor into how evidence is gathered and maintained and the different parts of the procedure.
When you're all on the same page, a lot more of the information is going to come around and around and around, and it's going to make a stronger case.
It becomes important that we know what the available resources are in our communities.
The partnership between officers and victim advocates is vitally important, because eventually our victims are going to go to them and they're going to receive information from the victims that may aid us additionally down the road in our investigation.
And they can also just provide key and important help in developing a good, sound, solid safety plan, which we know is immensely important for many of these victims and their ongoing involvement with our cases.
You start partnering with them more often, what you realize is it's the right thing to do for a victim. Partnering with victim services is the right thing to do for a victim, because there are things that a victim will need that law enforcement can't provide.
In the agency where I come from, we had to make sure that we communicated that this was an important crime for our officers to investigate.
And it lets stalkers know we are not going to let this happen in our community, that we take this very serious, that we have a victim-based response, that we intend to hold offenders accountable.
Where policies and protocols don't exist, we still have to make sure we're acting. We can't have inaction while we're waiting for the perfect law, the perfect protocol, the perfect policy. We need to implement what we have now.
Training law enforcement to recognize what stalking is, what it looks like, what it sounds like, what it smells like, so that when they're out in the field and they're having contact with victims, it's not the victim's job to recognize that this is a stalking crime. Stalking is a crime.
We have to be willing to go back and look at what we did well and the times when perhaps our response did not rise to the level it should have.
You know, just continuing to educate yourself on this crime. It is always evolving, and making sure that you're up to speed on everything, on the legal investigative issues that you need to have.
It's in your community. It's absolutely in your community. And if you haven't been trained to look for it, to recognize how prevalent it is, and identify the signs of it, you're going to miss it.
With regard to the crime of stalking, it becomes important that we are not part of the problem that results in the continuation of this very serious and insidious crime that's affecting many in our communities.
I tried to get a protective order, and I forgot the police report. You have to have it. You must file a police report to get a protective order against a stalker who's not family. Number 2, non-compliance with that law. This is the police report. Got handed right over to the offender. On the 21st of February 2016, I filed what I have to file, waited for a police call back to get a police determination before going back into court. That's when they called back. That was a threat to my life, was it not? I was getting sick. I took my son with me downtown to file this police report so he could testify. He was watching me throw up right after I'd drink a drink at work. Come home and barf everywhere. I bought charcoal to absorb it. Look at the date on that. I needed a blood test. I didn't get one. Because somebody at TPD didn't do what this video says you're supposed to do. They handed my police report right over to the offender, and that offender obstructed justice and destroyed my evidence. And then has since perjured himself. 5 years minimum, Mr. Perry. I don't like you. You have delusional erotomania, badly. I understand you've told everybody who will listen. I just need to talk to her. No! Not unless I'm interrogating you, and I'm going to get you to explain why you killed Justice Scalia. Because I believe you did. I believe you switched out his pills or something. There's a reason there wasn't a proper post-mortem investigation, as there would have been had he died in D.C. And I think Commander Ritchie was dead on the money. For something fishy going on in West Texas. Why did you kill Lucky Miller? He was trying to help me. He was trying to help me. This was sent to the U.S. attorney when 2 policemen said he's just trying to find a way to false arrest you. We told them no, that's not why we're policemen. But that doesn't mean he won't find an asshole who will do it, like the one who gave my police report right over to the offender, and I'm arrested a week later. I've told everybody that's what he's going to do. He's going to false arrest. Look at that. January 4th, 2016. I hadn't even filed the police report yet. He mistakenly thinks that if he arranges a false arrest or kills me, that will vindicate him. Yup, I don't think so. I'm getting death threats. I'm asking him, are you going to kidnap me or kill me? let your life fade away? Just let us kill you. He needs a cover-up. Yeah, I said no to that. 9 days later, 8 days later, a week later, I filed the report on January 21st, 2016. On the 29th, I'm arrested. Filing a false police report. First of all, you have to show that it's false, which you didn't do, and you have to show that it's related to your job as a public servant, which is a senator. We think you're very confused, sir, as to what your legislative duties are. You don't need to talk to me unless you want to explain why the fuck have you hurt people. Down at Tulsa Police or Manford Police. Officially, waive your right to counsel and explain it. Otherwise, get away from me. I don't want to talk to you. There's no secret anything. You're delusional. They tried to say I was delusional. This was the McNamara email. He wants to arrange a false arrest and coerce me. That's what the whole email is about. It's dated October 29, 2015, months before you did it. Months before you did it. Exactly what that email says. You've been trying to do it again ever since. That was going on in Manford. That is stalking. Is it not? Cars pulling up there taking pictures. I had witnesses. It was made everybody uncomfortable. Menacing. That was what Mike was investigating. They put something in my trunk. They got a key. They get a key to my house. They get a key to every car I've had. And they just help themselves and walk right in. You know what my grandmother taught me? Chief of Police's wife. If it's not yours, keep your hands off of it. Have some dignity. Don't act like trailer park trash. If it doesn't belong to you, you don't get to help yourself to it. You keep your fucking hands to yourself. Same powder all over the room. Dave had all his employees staying all around me. You know what somebody told us? I have 3 people in my office that said, how did they even know she was in Manford? We didn't know she was there. We're not stalking her. Aren't the allegations about stalking? Sounds to me like he's doing exactly what she says. So I had to call a shrink because Dr. Russell saw me for a year and a half. What did she say? It was a stalking escalation. Sometimes Charles escalates more than you can ignore, because what you want to do for the most part is ignore him as much as you can. I told Joe Chadwick the night Dave came in and customers complained. That was what was in the video. Customers complaining. He's stalking her. It's bugging us. It's making us uncomfortable. The waitress blew it off. They got pissed. The guy looked at her and said, what are you going to do? Wait till he blows her hat off and then do something? So I went back and told Joe, I go, right now, I'm trying not to dignify him with a response. I'm trying to ignore him. But you should let him know he's making customers uncomfortable. I would right now just go talk to him. They ended up throwing him out. I call a local shrink here for a delusional evaluation, and the guy goes, well, I have to look at what you're looking at, and if you see something I don't see, then you're delusional. But it sounds like if they got rid of your evidence and you were telling everybody they're going to arrange a false arrest before you actually did it, and then you don't have your evidence for me to look at, you're not delusional at all. That's what it sounds like to me. And those guys in Lubbock, those 2 doctors in Lubbock, have jeopardized their license, making a comment or any kind of predetermination without seeing any evidence. I won't do any such thing. I'm not willing to risk my license for that. So there you go. Again, 6 days before, accused of beating someone to death, but ends up with not a mark on him, found unconscious and in respiratory distress, dying. The right hand is red and swollen because he's got a needle in it. He's a police officer. Just 6 days before, took my report. Yeah, that's not fishy. I'm subpoenaed, and yet not allowed to testify. Because of that, I got upset. This guy has no voice. I'm going to give him one. He's a police officer. I come from police family. We take care of each other against criminals like you. You punished me financially. You still are. Economic abuse is part of domestic violence. It's a crime. You're a criminal. You're an intruder, not an invited guest. We are not friends. I don't want to talk to you. This thing where we got to get her alone so maybe she'll tell us who these guys are. Fuck you. You are off your nut. That is part of your delusion. I want for you to be gone. Gone. I won't ever be broke again, and I won't have to lie once you're in jail. I filed 2 motions to intervene, and again, when there should have been a hearing, at least on whether or not I had standing to do that, there wasn't one. Boy, you like meddling in the court systems. You are making a mockery of the courts. They are not to be treated the way you treat them. That's a whole nother crime bullshit. That's what happened in Lubbock. Before I even, reported to Lubbock police, who did not a fucking thing. I left my phone at home twice because you hacked me, and you can see where you're watching me at my house with your cameras. You otherwise can't know when I come and go from my home in order to have somebody sitting outside to take a picture of me. Or you can't know where I'm going, when I'm working, what part of town I'm working, which company I'm working for, without hacking and peeping. Can't do it. It's not possible. And to know when I'm sleeping so you can get into my car and do whatever the fuck you want. Ruin it. Put a hole in the radiator hose. Take all the oil out. Take the taillights out and call up Manfred Police and tell them, pull her over. They finally told you they were sick of that, didn't they? Yeah, I think they did. So I leave my phone at home twice ever when I lived in Lubbock. One time was to go on a date, and I get home and there's some liquid all over my counter. I look in the cabinet above, and it ate a hole right through the plywood. You can see it stuck on the bottom of that. No forced entry. No, because he gets a key, dumbass. It's still break-in. It's still a fucking break-in. So guess what? Now you got a dead cop because you didn't do shit. Probably got more than one. Maybe a dead justice, too. Supreme Court justice. Maybe everybody needs to start keeping up with William O. Ritchie. Sounds like he's pretty smart. Does that say I want to have a meeting with Mr. Perry? Nope. I want him to leave me the fuck alone. 2014. I wasn't in Lubbock. I'd already left. I was in Dallas. I was sick and tired of him butting in between me and Fabian. I was mad about it. None of your business. Like where I live and where I work. None of your business. You need to get a life. That's my address, confidential. You're not supposed to have my address. You're not supposed to be calling the Oklahoma Attorney General's office asking them, maybe just don't seal it. And whatever's in it, her bank card and shit will fall out. Golly, who did that? That's what my doctor said. She's scared of him. He's a threat to her. Yeah, you don't move twice to get away from someone. Twice. Uproot your life and start the fuck all over again. Unless you're running from a guy who you want to get away from. Doesn't mean I want to date. It means I want to get away from you. There's no secret anything. You're delusional. You accuse everybody else of doing what you do. Harassment, delusion. Yeah, no, you're the one doing it. This is stalking. He came where I am. Maybe he'll pay you $5,000 and you can be creeped out for him. Creeped out by him. Look at that. He makes my skin crawl. He's yuck. Now you listen. Get richer and he'll really be nice. He'll pay you $5,000 for one night. Yeah, I'll barf all over him. Then he's asking me if I have a wire on. And what do I say at the end here about politics? He says he's his friend. He says he's my friend. And I'm like, he's your friend? Oh, no. Maybe you have a wire on. Yeah. Politically, you could ruin him. Yeah, I don't give a shit about that. I just want him to leave me the fuck alone. This menu has all this stuff. Has all the perjury and everything outlined on it. Yeah. Dr. Russell. She says, I'm telling her What words do I use to make the fucker leave me alone? Yeah, try to ignore him. Try to ignore him. Try to ignore him. And it goes away, but you have to be able to handle that escalation. And unfortunately, his escalation, and this is what I work with some people with developmental disabilities, and they are big, and they're big and tall, and they know how to escalate, hey, or something, ignore. But the problem is they escalate more than you can ignore, and that's what you've got with Charles. It's recorded. You can listen to her and Pinto. Right there. It's also on every fucking court docket, but never got heard by a judge. Yeah. Because we like to play around with the court systems. Nothing political here. I'm telling you guys something's going on in case he hurts me. Dated September 20th, 2011, long before I could have foreseen that he would go into court and claim to be the victim of a political vendetta and a false police report arising from the political vendetta, neither of which he proved, and yet a judge signed off on it. I lost my house. My mugshot is everywhere. And he's tried to do it again ever since. Subjugate. Violent subjugation. They won't do what I want, so I will make them. You girls, my friend says, you girls at this strip club try to make Cynthia and Fabian not like each other, and if she refuses to change her mind, I will have her arrested again until she does. And telling Fabian, I will find a way to false arrest her again, and she won't get out this time unless she's with me. You give up, and that is none of your business, you sick son of a bitch. You're a butt-in. You're not wanted. You're not loved. You are butting in to things that don't concern you. Where's Jacqueline when you betray her like that? Where is she? Does she know her husband is a whack job and thinks he has 2 wives? Somebody needs to tell her. She'll find out in court. This whole thing is pulling up behind my house. I'm telling Jordan. I went to you, Jordan, not the media. I didn't hurt him. And you threatened to ruin my business. Who the fuck do you think you are? Maybe I should move, I'm telling him. This is about stalking, not, I don't like his pro-life. I didn't say that. I didn't feel that way. I didn't give a shit. I certainly don't now that I've been gone. I've lived in Oklahoma longer than I lived in Lubbock. November 2013, I took off. But I was telling people before that, somebody spread rumors about Mark Hawker, Connie Curry. I blasted her, and I said, I hate this town, and I want to leave. And it was in like June of 2013. And when I'm gone, please do not slander people like that anymore. This is about stalking, Mr. Perry. In 2014, again, long before I could have anticipated you'd go into court and lie. Did you imagine a political vendetta, or did you just bold-faced lie? Produce the evidence. See, when I'm pissed, you're going to know I'm pissed. You can't make a change unless you say something. Like I've been saying, TPD desperately needs a threat management unit. And to train officers, you don't give the report right over to the offender. You put my life at risk. You caused me valuable evidence that would have proven I was a victim of attempted murder. And then what happened is it lands on Lucky's desk. Now he's dead. Had you prosecuted obstruction of justice and destroying of my evidence, that may not be the case now. What about the little girl? Misses her dad. There's days when she wants to talk to him and he's not there anymore. We can't get him back. What about Mike's son? Where were you when he's going through his trial? Why was that room not full of Oklahoma law enforcement? So this is me saying what I think about how you do your job. I'm not accusing you of stalking. To the best of my knowledge, nobody at TPD is stalking me. They may be covering up Perry's crime. It's different. It's not the same thing. Either way, depravity. Depraved indifference. What the fuck? Depraved indifference for human life is a murder charge in Oklahoma. I asked not that long ago. I would like the Creek County District Attorney, who had to go over and get Lucky's body, to charge all of those people in Florida with obstructing justice on this case that I filed with Chief Miller, and fraud upon a court, perjury. Both attorneys lied. Travis Myers and Gene Mitchell both lied. They both knew. I contacted them, and I said he was drugged, and I said it before it was obtained and confirmed on the deposition in May. You got a crime. Get him out of jail. Do you have those kind of... I mean, I got the balls to do it. Do you? It's the right thing to do. I would have all of them in jail. You fucked up our case. You fucked up our case. We're going to arrest you for it. That's what the right thing to do is. Because you're preserving life. You're part of the problem or part of the solution, that guy says. I agree. These guys reoffend. They can't stop. They don't have any control. They'll keep going until they're put in jail. Our guys have a bigger case. They can't just pop out and ruin the whole fucking thing. I mean, you guys got 5 people in Oklahoma. So what I have done is, would you please consider a threat management unit at TPD? You need one. And that way, stalking victims can go to trained officers who know what the fuck they're doing. And maybe not end up on the first 48 when you got a body. And you have to submit crime stats. People don't trust police right now. This is why. This is why right here. Corruption. You had Derek Chauvin kill a man. But the thing is, Derek Chauvin had some complaints before. That's the way these things work. They bubble up. They bubble up. What I do, Mr. Perry, if somebody pisses me off politically, is I support the other guy. I'll give them money to their campaign, and I'll promote them every chance I get. I don't make up a story, keep my mouth shut about it for 4 years, except to a few close friends who don't live in Texas. She did, but I had to tell her she was with me and saw your girl. I mean, what the fuck is she coming in here for? What is she doing here? This was the other time I forgot my phone at home. I ran errands. He should have thought I was at home. Or shouldn't have cared, right? He's a hacker. He hacked me and paid a bill, but he paid the wrong one. And then tells me, you can thank me later. I'm like, oh, or maybe you stop hacking me. Trying to send texts. Every inmate in jail said, get rid of your phone. I did. He's trying to send a text from it. I wasn't at home. The phone, I had a new phone. I had my new phone with me. I was in Manford actually getting pulled over for turning right in from the left-hand lane. I didn't get a ticket, thank God. This bill was paid, and it was the wrong one. This bill was in dispute. $375 was the amount. This was the one I wanted paid. So if I gone to Mr. Perry and said, would you help me pay this bill? I wouldn't have even mentioned Kaufman. I would have only mentioned this one in the amount of $350. It's about the same amount. He saw them. They came in at my email. He's hacked my email. So what he did is paid the wrong fucking one, and then has the nerve to tell me later, oh, you can thank me later. No, you get out of my computer. How about that? You paid the wrong fucking bill. First of all. Second of all, you should have known anything about any of it. That's the thing, is you have a hard time keeping up with what you're supposed to know and what you're not supposed to know. It happens when you get Alzheimer's. Yeah, I'm telling him. Nope, that's... So please stop, because he was jamming up my computer. Like he jams up my food delivery service apps and I can't make any money. He was doing the same thing then in Lubbock. Jamming up my computer. I'm telling him, please stop. He then calls me. I won't answer. But at that time, I had a voicemail that said, hi, this is Cindy. Please leave a message. He knew who it was. He called me. He called me. My voicemail said, this is Cindy. And all of a sudden he acts like he doesn't know who I am. We've been texting for years. This is what happens. What most people do when they text the wrong person. They don't actually, all of a sudden, I don't know you. They just go, oh, sorry, wrong text. I made sure to document it was about a computer, but at the time, I'm still trying to be discreet. I didn't want a scandal. I had kids. So, I mean, all the stuff that they did to my fucking car after they threatened me. Oh, these right here. Mr. Perry was spreading rumors of an affair. And Powell, I guess, was recorded talking to somebody in Oklahoma, and he said, can we just get Mr. Morrison to say that she misunderstood something? And he goes, well, you can, but I don't think it'll work, because Mr. Perry never asked her why she's pissed off. She's clearly pissed off. And he never denies spreading rumors of an affair. He just denies having employees. Well, we all know he had employees. Yeah. Y'all are, I don't even, I was mad because he was spreading rumors that there was an affair between us, and I was like, yep, nope, no. And apparently he was going through Robin and Carl Tepper. Tells me, I'm like, finish up my taxes, and then we're done. No more contact. You're stuck, you have no control. You lose, kind of like Hotel California. You want played at my work? Yeah, and you know what they said in Manford? You know how many times I've told somebody that, even if they made a mistake? Never, because it's weirdo. You know how many times I've pulled up behind a woman's house who is not my wife and watched her in the backyard? Never, because it's weirdo. You know how many times I've told a woman, let your life fade away? Never, because it's weirdo. You know how many times I've gone to a restaurant looking for a woman who isn't my wife or sent a secretary or even my wife? Never, because it's weirdo. And not what you do to pass a law in Texas. Where's the, political vendetta? Because Chief Franklin, if he hears these, which I'm guessing somebody's telling him something about it, knows that I would like TPD to have a threat management unit with trained officers. So that what happens to me didn't happen to somebody else. And you got a dead body. Now you got the first, you got a crime, golly. Anyway, people start trusting you. And then you don't have problems recruiting. It's not just TPD, it's all over the country. But the thing is, corruption starts with little things here and little things there, and it bubbles up, and then there's a blow up. And there's a catastrophic event. Just like what we saw with Derek Chauvin and Mr. Floyd. And it affected the whole country. And then there's a corrective event, which would be what the protests and the riots were. And the call for defunding of police. Next time, they might actually make it happen. And I'd hate to see that. But it's going to take effort of change in a positive way. Protecting victims of crime. So people fucking trust you. Because this is bad corruption and you know it. You don't give the police report right over to the offender in a stalking case where that stalking victim looks like they were almost killed. And then it leads to maybe the death of another police officer who was trying to do it. I wish somehow we could have caught those two before they went to Pensacola. But I'm going to tell any other police officer involved in this, if they start coaxing you somewhere, Charles, or Josh Burson, or Texas Rangers, I wouldn't go. Don't go. I'm telling you now. Smart people learn from their mistakes. Smarter people learn from other people's mistakes. They started coaxing. They want me back out at that club and on that pole so they can get to me and hurt me. Yep, I got pulled out of there. I'm not going back. First of all, I'm done dancing. I'm 52. Older customers loved me. But you know what? I'm just done with it. And I know you want to do something to me when I go out there. I try not to go where you coax. That's what that club looked like. Because you ran off everybody. I hear you guys rented the place out sometimes. I don't know if it was this one or Godiva's. I've not been told that yet. You rent out the whole club. Make sure she didn't make any money. Grand larceny with intent to coerce. And again, now they're going, oh, now we want her back out there. Yeah, I don't work for canned food. And I don't like you. Now, this is the shit that went on with my car. Radiator hose, had somebody poked a hole in it. They drained out my oil. Golly, so many crappy things. Took out my taillight. I was woke up by my cop guys that gave me the Fabian puzzle. Then they took your taillight out. They went you pulled over. Go check it. It was 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I went and checked. You know, when you leave your house, you just walk out and you get in your car and you leave. I'd usually wake up at 3 get up, have my coffee, eat a little bit, take a shower, and go to work by about 7, 8, somewhere in there. That day at 1 o'clock, they woke me up. Go check it now. I went and checked it. Sure as shit, it was out. I pulled over. That was the second time it happened. I pulled over one night. I saw a Rogers County deputy sitting on the side of the road. I fucking pulled over. And I asked him, I showed him all this. I said, look at this. Does it look like somebody's tampering with my trunk? And he goes, yeah, but the light's in the hood. And I go, right. But maybe the person that took the light out made the same mistake I just did and took this out first and realized that's not where the light is. He goes, yeah, that's possible. So I got my light changed. There's the Manfred Napa receipt. That's the day it happened. And then that night, 2 guys come in and they go, who's telling on us? Is it Mays County? I don't know. Did you call Mays County and tell them what you were going to do to me? I mean, quit asking me who told. If you told them you were going to do something harmful, commit a crime against me, and you're worried somebody leaked, that's your fault. That's your fault. You like running your mouth, bragging, here's what we can do and get away with. And then you're getting told on. We don't have leaks. We don't have leaks, Mr. Perry. You're getting told on because people don't like what you're doing. Do you not understand the words I'm saying? You are being told on because people don't like what you're doing. It's criminal activity. It's a crime because people don't like that. Thousands of people got together and passed a law to make it illegal. It's deviant. It pisses people off. So when you do it, you go to jail. If we just let everybody run around doing what you do, we don't have a civilized society anymore. Yeah, I don't know. You guys are... Somebody hit my car. Ruined the tire. They always hit right above the tire. There was 3 of those. And then somebody threw a brick at me. And it busted the engine in 2. Could have been my head. Probably was intended to be. I went out a different way. Otherwise, I would have been closer. If we had known about that beforehand, I would have taken a different route. We get it 98%. If we had known Lucky and Mike were going to be hurt, we would have told them. There was somebody that knew about it, and everybody jumped on him. Why did you not say something? Well, first of all, they kept getting caught so much, I didn't think they would actually do it. That's what happens. You guys get caught planning it, and then you do it anyway, and everybody's baffled. Wow. They kept getting caught. I didn't think they would actually do it, and they kept saying Cynthia's crazy. I didn't think they'd listen to me if I did tell them. That's what your slander did. You got somebody killed with that. What's that little girl and those boys supposed to do when they need their dad and he's not there anymore? And then we can't get Lucky back. We can get Mike out, but we can't get Lucky back. And if you guys didn't kill him, then you would have said that. We didn't do it. He didn't either. There's nothing on him. So let's find out who did, so that suspicion is not on us at all. There's no doubt in we want to be, above question and integrity. We're all Christians. We all love Jesus, except you don't. We're pro-life. There's been a life lost here. So let's find out who did that. Instead, what you did is you kept trying to find a way to kill me and get away with it. You took all my money. Punish me. I did, how'd you like if somebody made you sit in the dark, take cold showers, and eat, a spoonful of bean dip for a week? A spoonful of bean dip every day for a week. Kick you out of your house as punishment because you told the truth. Yeah.
Hello? Okay, I'll see you in 5. All right, bye.
Stalking has changed over the years because stalkers are employing more and more techniques to perfect their crime.
Technology is being used in most stalking cases.
And so there used to be a lot of time and energy involved in stalking someone, and with technologies it has become a lot easier.
Technology is great, but it can also be misused by somebody who has the intent to harass you or stalk you as a victim.
I was married for 10 years, and my ex-husband was controlling. He became verbally abusive, and I decided that it was just best to end the marriage. Immediately upon speaking with an attorney, things started happening. He started showing up places where I would go. He seemed to know information about me that he shouldn't have. I took a new job and did not tell him where the location was or who I was working for. And the third day of the start of the new job, he showed up.
Unfortunately, Sherry's example is very typical. Stalking, finding the victim, watching her, controlling her, those are all indicative of abusive, controlling relationships.
And when he was able to appear, even though I hadn't seen him following me somewhere, I started figuring he must have something that's technology related and some way of tracking me, because there's just no way he could know where I'm at, and the timing was perfect.
So we have been hearing for years people calling in and saying, I know this sounds crazy, but every time I move, I go to a shelter, I try to do something, it seems like the perpetrator knows what I'm doing. I feel like people aren't going to be able to believe me.
So it might start out with harassing behavior, and then it becomes scary behavior, and then it becomes victims who are very afraid.
Please, I can't live here anymore because you stalked me. That's why I moved.
No, just talk.
Leave me alone.
I will. You talk to me for 2 minutes and
No,
I'll leave you alone.
0 minutes. I don't want to ever talk to you again. I don't ever want to hear your voice, you. Please stop.
Did he really just say, I don't care what you want. I'm going to force myself on you anyway and break the law? Yep, I hear it every day. Pick me. I'm with you. You're with me. I'm going to put you back in jail and violently subjugate you and take all your money until you do what I say. Can we not get her to mind us? Who's us? Fuck off. We don't act like that in a civilized society. That's the reason it's criminal activity. They said it over and over and over. The crime of stalking. Stalking is a crime. Crime of stalking. Stalking is a crime. Victims are in danger. Brick thrown at me on the highway. Arsenic. Maybe. I don't know. We lost my blood test. The evidence was destroyed, which, by the way, is evidence in and of itself. You are, Mr. Perry, I don't want to talk to you unless you want to confess at a police department after you've waived your right to counsel. I have nothing to say to you, you freak show. You're just as scumbag as him. You disgust me. I've done all I can do to get away from you and avoid a conflict and a scandal. All you had to do is leave me the fuck alone. And the more you bother me, the more you get told on. You bother me, you get told on. You bother me, you get told on. You bother me, you get told on. Because everybody's sick and tired of you. You're an imposition and a burden we want gone. You're like cancer. You smell bad, and you kill everything in your path, and you hurt people, and you don't give a shit who you hurt or how bad you hurt them. Guess what? We do. I want to look at your victims, all of them, in the eye and tell them, I sacrificed a whole lot. I sacrificed a whole lot, working very, very hard to make sure you know right now you're safe. You are safe, and he won't hurt you ever again. That is my granddad. He had the power in the town where I grew up, and he taught us power is in service. Everyone puts their pants on one leg at a time. What we're here to do is serve other people. Make their life better. Relieve suffering caused by crime or anything. Relieve it. Take it off. Look them in the face and say, you're safe now. You're not under threat anymore, and they won't hurt you again. That's what Lucky was trying to do. His name is on the front door of the police department where he served as chief to this day. He did the right thing to do because it was the right thing to do. And he had adversity. He had some guy on the city council that could not keep his pants zipped up, was having an affair with the dispatcher, taken away from police business. And he said, get out of here and go work. You're taken away from police business. And that guy formed a committee on the city council and took over the police department. And my granny showed me newspaper articles. It was bad. You could see the stress on his face. He never backed off. Never ever backed off. And now he's been honored. His name is on the front door of the police department where he served as chief. And nobody remembers who the fuck that other guy even was. This is what law enforcement is supposed to be about. As lawmen, we are called, and women, we are called to relieve suffering caused by crime. Relieve it. You're a part of the solution or you're a part of the problem, but you can't be both. That's my granddad's legacy. It's not for sale. It's not for sale. Not at all. You took a life. You've taken a lot of lives, Mr. Perry. You're a serial killer, aren't you? Grandiose thinking. Everybody owes you something. Everybody's a pawn. A sociopath. You don't give a fuck who you hurt or how bad you hurt them. You just want to know who your leaks are. And I don't have that information, and I wouldn't give it to you if I did. Because you hurt people. We're sick of it. It's not that hard to get information. You provoke. Everybody's sick and tired of the hardship and hurt and suffering and pain and loss after loss after loss after loss you cause. And so, it's not that hard to get information, sir. You stop. Because every time you're told on, you're being stopped. Genius. You didn't figure that out? We want Mike out. We want him out of jail. He didn't do shit. He was about to put you in jail, wasn't he? Wasn't he? Somebody else can do it. You didn't stop a thing. You're still getting told on. Do you think he was a leak? Did you think Chief Miller was a leak? Didn't stop your leaks, did it? You made everybody more mad. You can tell when you're getting in my wallet because the frequency of recordings is like boom, 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 boom. You'll notice a whole lot more. Grand larceny with intent to coerce, causing duress, causing stress, causing anxiety, causing fear, causing sadness, and you've been told on, and told on, and told on, and told. Last night, can you get her on this particular road so she swerves, maybe she'll have a wreck, lose that car, and finally, we can shut her up. Because I speak for all your victims right now, and you don't like that. You shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free. It's on the CIA headquarters building. Everybody's sick of y'all. All you had to do is leave me the fuck alone. Cost no money and no time. None at all. This is what matters to me. I'm gonna look your victims in the face. And I'm gonna tell them, you're safe now. He won't hurt you anymore. I made sure of it. I did without. A lot. I suffered a lot. Because we're not having this. We're not having this. It's a civilized society. We don't tolerate outrageous, boundary crossing, catastrophic loss and suffering. We don't. We don't do it. Leave me the fuck alone, Perry. When you bother me, you get told on. And it's been that way for a long time. Everybody's sick and tired of you, and you need to learn how to control yourself and go be normal.